is up, RotoGrinders. 2 hours of non-stop MLB DFS conversation on a Friday night. It starts right now, taking you all the way up the lock, all the way up the first pitch. Of course, crunch time comes in about an hour and change. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. Roth told us earlier in the day that it would be very dicey in Coors. Well, no need to sweat that one. We've lost that game. An 11-game slate. We're down to 10. No Washington, no Colorado. It's snowing in Colorado, so that game is no longer on the slate. I'll go ahead and drop Ross weather report. Also, when you guys are clicking on that in the chat, also hit the like button and subscribe. Turn on those notifications as well. We do have producer TJ today. I don't want to make any promises we've not discussed, but probably, maybe. I don't know if Spidey's around, but I assume Spidey is lurking to drop those Spidey bombs. And then, of course, we have Chop on a Friday. Those knockers got to be on layaway. Of course, the BBP suggestion of the day. But speaking of, I was curious about Ohtani. Ever played what has Ohtani done against DeGrom in his life? Never faced him. So the best hitter against one of the best pitchers when healthy. First time ever. First time meeting Ohtani versus DeGrom this evening. Chop, happy Friday. How are things?
The Moogie Betts BVP suggestion of the day worked on Monday. Was that Monday? That was Monday.
Was it against the bullpen? No, he got a homer in the first inning.
Yeah, it was right off the bat, brother. Come on,
Herman Marquez did not
last. Now you're just trying to find ways to disparage the BVP suggestion of the day. It's Friday. It's gonna be a fun day. It's Easter weekend, so I'm looking forward to it's playoff NBA starts tomorrow. The big
deal.
Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Not just the play-ins, but the real deal starts tomorrow. So yeah, man, this is gonna be a great weekend right here.
Yeah, I'm just we don't have a lot of time to get into it. We got to get to the slate, but there's the only thing worse than rooting for your team to win and then having them lose is rooting for your team to lose and having them win. And the Miami Heat did not get the memo. They don't understand the Heat culture stuff. They can't help themselves. They got to play hard, and I kind of get it. But man, if they get into the playoffs, just a completely disaster scenario on their part, because they would lose their pick if they get in the playoffs. And if they don't, they keep it. And if they lose their pick and get in the playoffs, they won the right to get swept by Cleveland. So great job. Good job, Miami. Please don't win tonight. I think I'm going to hedge bet. I'm going to hedge and bet on the Heat. And, worst case scenario, at least I made some money, But that's the emotional. I don't know. If they win tonight, and they probably will, because Atlanta stinks too.
Well, what's the catch with the pick? Is it how protected?
Lottery protected, fully lottery protected.
So anything in the lottery.
Anything in the lottery is theirs.
Well, that's interesting because they know that.
Yes. So they also know heat culture, so they can't help themselves.
Yeah. So we'll see. Atlanta's good though. I'm gonna tell you, Atlanta playoff-wise, Atlanta overachieves in the playoffs. If you think about it, since Trae Young's been there, I know people don't like him, and
he's gonna go. He's gonna go.
Probably, but they laugh at it. But name a time when Atlanta has underachieved in the playoff. Like they beat the Knicks that one year. Didn't they made a run another year, like with Trae Young? They actually do pretty well in the playoffs. So I think you're all right tonight. I think Atlanta wins this one.
I hope you're right. Chop. Good luck. Good luck to your Rockets as well. A lot of fun series setting up, and basketball is going to get real. It's going to get exciting once we get past the play-in nonsense. There's a lot of good series on layaway. I'll go ahead and drop Ross weather report again. The main one was Washington, Colorado. That game is no longer, and then we have a bunch of stuff that is that's green, right? It's heating up in some places. We have better hitting. It's not full-fledged hot Atlanta, but it's getting hotter in Atlanta, getting hotter in some spots. It's no longer 30 and 40 degrees as far as some of these games. So offense is looking a little bit better. We have a pretty good field as far as starting pitchers. I think it's a pretty solid, pretty clear, for me at least, dividing line of who's in the bucket, who's not in the bucket as far as pitchers. It's pretty obvious. You're in or you're out. A few guys on the bubble, I suppose. I'm sure I'll have the DeGrom conversation because they are teasing you with DeGrom. The price is just really, really, it's really appealing. If you Rip Van Winkle and went to sleep for 5 years or so, woke up and how is DeGrom this cheap? He hasn't been great. Although, if you look at the swinging strike metric, that's telling you that he's due for some more. There should be some more Ks on layaway. He's been unlucky as far as home in the fly ball. I know Dave wrote about this pretty extensively as well in today's musings. But yeah, DeGrom is there. You don't necessarily have to play him, right? Because you got Peralta, you got a plethora of pitchers. We lost Mackenzie Gore, but Logan Webb looks really good. The other side of the DeGrom game, Yamamoto is pretty awesome. He's throwing baseballs as well. And again, there's a lot of nonsense. There's Brian Wu, just seems too expensive, but he's fine. Peterson's okay, but again, I think it's pretty clear who the best pitchers are. One of the trickier ones is probably New York and Tampa because, again, good hitting environments. I don't know if you saw, by the way, Tampa called up. What's the guy's name? Jeez. The speedster who's still like 200 stolen bases. He's not playing today, but I was able to pick him up in one of my season-long leagues. No power. Like he's like Billy Hamilton with less power. It's pretty amazing. But he should be an exciting player going forward. Spencer is his name? I don't recall. Yeah, keep an eye on him. I don't know if he's able to pinch run, but put that in your back pocket. Chop, how are we feeling about the slate? And I guess I'll go ahead. Let's go ahead. It's a Film Friday. Let's award those that are here early. Let's give them the first clue to get a week free of RG Premium. Just tell me what film I am talking about in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. You get all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, everything with the exception of NASCAR. And really, NASCAR, not even a sport. Let's be honest. That's not a sport. I mean, we all drive. Most of us do. It's not a sport.
Like, I'm not saying it, Dean, but there was a study done. I'm not saying it. This is not me person, but there was a study done that correlated if you are a fan of a sport, and even though you call it not a sport, correlated. There's a lot of correlation between NASCAR fans and domestic abusers. I didn't say it. Like
you didn't say this. This is a
this is a real study out there. Just I don't know if it's true or not.
I suspect I don't know this. I've never. You're not a NASCAR guy, right? I don't think you are, but I don't. Okay, yeah. The chat's not going to like that one for sure. Roll was the very first clue today, Chop. Roll was the first clue as far as today's Film Friday. And that's ROLL, if you want to know the spelling on it. It's scrolling at the bottom. Chop, I know you like to play the home version and slide in our private messages here, but feel free to get your guesses in. Give me the.
Did you guys place any bets or do anything with this early Wrigley win game we have going on? It was 2-1 in the 7th inning, and now it is 11-10.
I did not. I was doing content stuff, but I did see like both these teams blew up in the last couple innings. I saw Suarez, banged out a grand slam. But what was the if you're still with us, TJ? What was the over under in this game? Because I saw it was like 2-1 really early.
11.5.
Okay, so you're sweating a little bit early, and then all of a sudden you got there really easy.
I've been doing this week. I started to because it looks interesting. This week I started to do more home run parlay stuff, because the payouts are so big on it. I mean, I didn't hit a home run in that game. Like everybody I chose didn't hit a home run. Other guys are right and left hitting them out. So not good at all.
Let's see. We'll take a peek. The homers, Gurriel, Suarez, Happ, and a pair for Kelly. What's gotten into Kelly? I still don't believe he's good, but maybe he is. He's had a phenomenal start to the season. He's the guy that had the cycle, which is incredible. He christened the new ballpark out there in Sacramento with he had a cycle opening at night. Chop, it is not Days of Thunder. That is your guess. I'll go ahead and take a peek in the Discord channel, see if we have anybody on top of it, but otherwise we'll drop a second clue momentarily. Chop, give me the overview. How are we seeing this slate? I love this slate. This is one of my favorite ones of the year so far. And you know how baseball, you can research your brains out and, come up with absolute squad. And, the variance is insane. I just want to feel good before the slate starts. And weirdness can always happen. Wonky things always happen in baseball. But I feel pretty locked in on this one. How about yourself?
Wow. You feel locked in, Dean.
I feel pretty good. We'll see.
I mean, I'm just like kind of all over with it. Like the pitching, I don't like the pitching today. There's a couple of guys that I'm going to play. that's I would call them my favorite options out of what I have to choose from, which is, like not great. I don't like it. Like there's good pitchers, but I could pick holes in a lot of these matchups and whatever. So I'm not in love with the pitching. The hitting is okay. There's some good spots that I'm gonna attack, but then again, I could poke holes in those stacks too. We'll talk about, but like I guess I'm the opposite of you. I kind of don't like it. I kind of like it. It seems like a big gray, like slate for me. Like there's nothing black or white definitive. I can this and that. Like I think last night, I forget last night or that, but very definitive stuff. This is what I like, and this is how I'm gonna play it, and it worked out pretty good tonight. I'm kind of all over the place with this. Nothing really jumps out on either angle. So we'll talk it through. Maybe you'll convince me of something, but I'm not loving it, man, to be honest with you.
You might like one of my answers. Apparently Tucker just went yard as well, according to our chat. So there you go. That game is really getting loose.
I don't think I had him either.
Why would you not? Was there a lefty that started or something?
It's all about the odds, right? Like if they're going to give him like
2-1 or something.
Corbin Carroll was like plus 190 to hit home run. Like I like Corbin Carroll. I think he probably could go yard in this game, but you can't do that. So
I did have Tucker, but it didn't even matter for me because the site that I've been using this year, they've been just absolutely like, how we talked like a year ago, Dean, where you were like, hey, so your site has a monopoly. It's like my state does. The home run odds probably suck, right? And I was like, no, they're actually pretty good. They suck now.
Yeah.
But they haven't adjusted the total base props. And so often 4 total bases and a home run, they have it exactly the same. Or sometimes 4 total bases actually has better odds than a home run.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't seem like they care to even look at those. And so I did 4 total bases on Kyle Tucker, but he already had a single and a triple, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, the Hard Rock, the only book here in South Florida with the monopoly, it's not good as far as the home run odds. I mean, because they know people love their home run bets, and they just take advantage of you because they can. Because people are just going to want to. That's what they want as far as their bets. We got a couple players back today. Tyler O'Neill was dealing with his neck. He is in the lineup today versus Andrew Abbott. And we also got Ozuna back for Atlanta. And Verdugo was called up, and he's right there in the leadoff spot. Alex Verdugo leading off right out the gate, which kind of speaks more to the rest of that Atlanta lineup that's been scuffling, I think. Harris is down in the 7th spot, even though it's a righty starting there in Paddock. Atlanta's one of the teams I like. Maybe I'm a sucker, but I keep betting Atlanta, and it's not worked out spectacularly. Matt Olson, 2.9 on FanDuel, which is just bonkers. But FanDuel is more aggressive in terms of reacting to what have they done lately, and that's how they move prices. Anything you want to say as far as general thoughts? Boston's got the biggest total on the board, I believe. 5.39. Houston is creeping towards 5. I thought it was kind of sneaky being on Houston. I guess not. The Mets look pretty good, except that ballpark, of course, is not spectacular. However, the wind is blowing out toward left center. They have a team total of 4.5, taking on Miles Mikolas, who does not miss many bats. Anything else of note? Anything else we want to say? You want to give me the screenshot before we fully dive in and talk? We can talk some pitchers. You said you didn't like the pitchers, which I thought was interesting. You don't like Peralta or Yamamoto, or you still want to spend that? You don't want to delegate the funds.
We're going to talk pitching now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me refresh this real quick. I was looking at something else. Do I like
Suzuki just homered?
Suzuki, I don't have him either. Man,
who do you have?
Well, first, one guy that got pinch hit for, so I'm certainly not getting a home ride of him.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I mean, I could pull it up. It's garbage. Oh, Josh Naylor. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing today. Oh, the first at bat, Josh Naylor rips it. I mean, pulls it. He rips it. And I'm like, oh, that's an easy home run. They say the wind is blowing out at Wiggly. And the wind totally knocked it down in his first at bat. I don't think he's even sniffed one since. So
really, okay.
I had Dansby Swanson. He ain't doing nothing. I don't know, man. Just a bunch of garbage. Anyway, it's a parlay. It's a home run. You expect to lose that.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it as much. All right, let me see here. Let me see where are we at here? Pulling up pitching, Dean. Here's what I would tell you. You say Peralta. I'm a little worried about the fact that this Oakland lineup is pretty darn good these days. So I don't know that I love Peralta. He has a knack for. He's really good. He can strike people out. He will walk a few guys. It's a little rough, and he's generally a good pitcher. But this lineup is packed with really good hitters, and he does have an issue sometimes with the home run ball. And these guys are pretty darn powerful, and they got the major league home run leader, Tyler Soderstrom, who's just crushing this year, man. So I'm a little bit leery on Freddie Peralta. He's fine, and he'll probably end up in some lineup. GPP, 150 lineups that I'm playing tonight. I'm positive he'll end up in some of them, sure, but I can poke holes in him is all I'm saying. And I like it when I feel good enough about a guy that is not even a question mark. Kind of similar with Logan Webb. The poke hole in him would be that he just doesn't strike out enough guys a lot of times. So he's up there. He's pricey, and he's good, and he's highly projected. But I do worry about the lack of strikeouts. Now you talked about Yamamoto. You mentioned him. That's a guy I can definitely get behind here. He's been pretty good this year. He's showing more this year than he did last year. He can strike you out. Got the strikeout thing going. Keeping the ball in the ballpark. It's a pretty good lineup he's facing, but I'm okay with that. He's been really good this year. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here for a win if you're really into the win points, so which matter a little bit more on some sites.
So you don't like DeGrom?
DeGrom's been, as far as a DFS pitcher, no. It's a good price tag, but he's just not. I just don't think. Obviously, he's been a little bit of a struggle this year getting back into form. It'll come, but now you're asking him to get back into form against arguably the best offense in baseball. I don't like that. So, no, I think the Dodgers go in here and win this game. I think Yamamoto gets the win. I'm a little worried about DeGrom, so he's not on my list. Right.
I apologize for continuously interrupting. I just wanted to allow the chat into a little sweat I got going. I just looked at the total base stuff in this game, and I've already hit an $800 parlay in this game.
Ooh, nice.
And I am a single from Pete Crow Armstrong, or just one base from Pete Crow Armstrong, and two bases, which makes what Chop said earlier hurts, from Josh Naylor away from a $7,500 parlay.
Well, you got Horner at the plate with one out and two on, and Pete Crow Armstrong on deck. So you better hope for no double play.
Okay, well, I need some insight here because I'm just getting into the parlay stuff with the props. What does this parlay consist of? How many players were on it, and what was it? All just four base parlay? Was it a big 4-base parlay?
So the one I've already hit was 2+ bases Pete Crow Armstrong, 2+ bases Mike Bush, 2+ bases Suzuki, Naylor, Tucker, and Corbin Carroll. And that was 31 to 1. And so it's $25 for 750. Then the other one is Suzuki 4+ bases, Crow Armstrong 4+ bases, Naylor 4+ bases, Tucker and Bush 4+ bases.
Is a walk a base, by the way?
No.
Okay, you got Pete Crow Armstrong up with the bases loaded, one out. So, give
me a single. All I need is a single from him, and then we need a double from Naylor.
You're live. You got a shot. I did want to mention it again. I'm sure that Dave's going to talk about this when he comes on. Cheese, he was hyping up DeGrom. Again, this year, swinging strikeout rate for him is 16.1%. That is still really, really good. The BABIP is 231, but the homer and the fly ball is 20%. So, he's been unlucky as far as balls in the air going over the fence. He's been getting barreled up too much, too many walks as well at 9.5%. I don't have a ton of it. I'm kind of on the fence. I do have a little bit of DeGrom in the lineups that I made on FanDuel. It's just so cheap. But I understand if you don't want to play it. I understand if you want to wait and see, because this is not a slate where it's like, okay, I'll play DeGrom and hope for the best, or I'm going to settle for some nonsense. You have good pitchers right there that, like, at least I feel good about Peralta. I feel good about Yamamoto. Logan Webb, I wrote about this today in the survey. It's just like, I think Dave wrote something similar. I don't know if he's going to be the top pitcher on the slate as far as raw points, but, all his ground balls, he doesn't walk anybody. He's a guy that can go 7 or 8 innings if things are going right as far as the efficiency of pitch count. Is 21% Ks is not great dating back to last season. However, I feel good he'll be on the podium. I'm not sure if he's going to be number one. Probably not going to be number one, but I think he has as good a shot as anybody to at least be on the podium. Other pitchers, Wu is just a little bit too expensive for me. He's fine, I guess. They traditionally don't push him too hard. Bowden Francis is like a cheapie that's of note for me, Chop, just because the Seattle lineup strikes out a ton. Again, there's an opportunity cost for me at pitcher, but if you need to save a little bit, I don't mind Francis against the Mariners. I'm trying to pull it up here on the fly in the old plate IQ. As far as Seattle and their strikeout tendencies. Let's see, I'm on Toronto right now. 24.5% Ks collectively dating back to last season, and it's the front 5 that strikes out a ton. So those are the guys you see a third time if things are going well. So, he's in the pool for me. Ownership-wise, as of right now, this is on DK. 34% for Peralta, 28% for Webb. You got to pay a little bit more for Yamamoto at 22%. I don't think I'm in Dome, but you can make the argument against Tampa. Like, certainly, Tampa can strike out a fair bit. I don't like that ballpark, but he does have those games where he jumps up against 7 or 8 Ks. And the other side, I don't mind Rasmussen as well. His issue is kind of a, pitch count. 83 is a protected pitch count for him. He gets a slight hit there as far as pitches. And, of course, he's taking on the Yankees, but the numbers for him have been awesome. Some of that's out of the bullpen. A lot of times you lose some Ks coming out of the bullpen to start. But dating back to last season, what's our sample size on it? It's not huge. 43 innings, 29.4% as far as Ks, a 2.06 ERA, a 2.62 Sierra. The walks have been awesome at 4.7%. So I'm more on him than the Yankees today. We'll talk about that soon enough. But yeah, you got anything as far as Rodon, Rasmussen, anybody else of note as far as pitchers you want to highlight?
Not on Peterson. Don't like that one. Not on Rodon. He just has this knack for going, like, looking like a Cy Young guy for 3 or 4 innings, and then boom, the one big inning, and he's cooked, man. So I don't like that one. I'm not on a lot of these guys, but the one I mentioned Yamamoto, and if I was running one lineup in a cash game, which I'm not, I got 150, but if I was running one lineup, it would probably be Yamamoto, but I could, I can get away from that at that expensive. Paired with my favorite pitcher on the board, Drew Rasmussen. That'd be my favorite guy. That'd be my favorite by far. And that it's the Yankees, so you got to be careful, and that says something about the slate. But Rasmussen he's just a really good pitcher who looking healthier and healthier here as we go on.
Are you playing him on FanDuel? Because you're talking about running. Is that where you're running 150 or in DK?
Yes, FanDuel.
Quality start might be an issue. Just
maybe not, but I mean, it's relative to the other pitchers out there. Really, like this guy, he can shut down left-handed batters, like by the numbers, and maybe he might be a reverse splits guy. By the numbers, I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. It's a really small sample. Stuff I got pulled up. His last 2 years, he's only pitched a little bit over 40 innings, so we don't know. But those 40 innings, he's been a lot better against the left-handers. The Yankees are running 6 left-handers tonight, so he got that working for him. He's got he strikes guys out. He's just got good stuff. Just needs to locate a little bit, and he'll be all right. I'm not as deathly afraid of this Yankees lineup as I have been in the past. Maybe last year was probably a little bit better, in my opinion. So, yeah, I like Drew Rasmussen more than anybody, but I think that goes to say that the pitching in general, it doesn't really excite me too much, and that's why he jumps out as the number one guy.
Let's see. Anybody else of notes that we want to talk about as far as pitchers? I think we basically covered it. Like you're probably not digging enough in this Hunter Dobbins character. Just he's throwing baseballs against the White Sox, Also no Robert. For whatever reason, he's not in the lineup for Chicago. So that lineup is it's bad. It's worse without him. If you need to save some salary, I guess he's kind of sort of someone in the pool on DK as an SP2, but I don't know if I'll need that. I think Francis is as low as I go. Francis and DeGrom's right there. Actually, Dobbins is 8.2. Is that FanDuel or is that DK? That's FanDuel. Okay, yeah, I think he's in the 6s or 7s on DK. I don't think he's a big-time prospect of any sort. Just he's throwing baseballs against Chicago, and he's another guy that, like, if he sticks around for 5 innings, he's got a decent shot at grabbing that W. Boston getting Bregman back today off of having a child, so congratulations to him and his family. Anything else we should mention? Gusto, Steve is throwing out there in chat. I don't see a lot. I mean, great name, great game, great name.
He's got the gusto. He's got the gusto.
He's Cheese had some fun with that in his article. Well, it's your team. I don't know. You excited about Ryan Gusto? He's not anything that's
not yet.
Yeah,
not yet. I think there's potential, but I wouldn't do it on this particular slate with that particular matchup. But I do need to get. I should really get a bonus. I should really get some sort of bonus here from the sports book or wherever prop site I'm working with. It's hard for a game to have 7 home runs and I don't hit a single one of them. I don't hit a single one of them. That's deserves some kind of credit, man.
Sorry to TJ, by the way. PCA struck out with the bases loaded, so it's kind of a bummer for him. Still had a good day, but he said he had a shot at a nice payoff there. One more base, unfortunately, did not happen for him. Any new lineups coming on through for us? I don't think so. Nope, not just yet. We're still waiting for the Dodgers, Milwaukee, San Fran, LA will get late. That's the Angels, both LA teams. And then Twins, I think the Twins might be waiting on Correa. I think he's dinged. So maybe that's what's holding up their lineup. Otherwise, we got everything else. Pitchers? Anything else you want to say as far? By the way, I'm tilted over here. I don't know if you can tell. I'm tilted because somebody guessed Film Friday in one guess, and I don't like that. I don't like when somebody hey, I'm impressed, but I don't like when somebody guesses it in one guess, Chop. So we'll still play it out.
I mean, I haven't looked, and you can play it out, but if you get it in one guess, then like you just kind of got lucky. Like there's nothing there that should really. Or if I knew the name, if I knew the answer here, I could tell you.
I mean, there's some kind of math you can do to figure it out, but it's not obvious. But yeah, somebody did guess it in one guess. We will play it out. I have not officially revealed the winner either.
And I would also want to point out here, Dean, before you move on to the next clue. There's who is that? Steve Jones in chat says, I guess we downplayed Gusto enough to where he doesn't want to take him down. Hey, it's a weak slate of pitching, in my opinion. There's not a lot of great arm. If you want to go for Ryan Gusto, go for the Gusto, man. Like go for the there's some strikeout potential there. I hate the matchup. San Diego's a good team.
Arise is annoying.
Yeah, they're good. They typically, if they're anything like they were last year, they're not going to strike out a lot this year. And that's his claim to fame right now is he is going to be able to strike guys out right now until he gathers himself and he can go deeper in the games and be better. But he's got strikeout potential. So if you really liked him, go for it, man. But I'm just not on it. If it was a different matchup than San Diego, so maybe I'm overvaluing San Diego.
Well, the back half is really rough on San Diego. The front half is really good. The back half is really rough. That seems like a lot of lineups, though, right? It just falls off pretty quickly for the Padres after you get through, Machado and those guys. Bogart's not what he used to be. He's fine, right? Sheets, you can get him. Iglesias, Hayward, Wade, and Maldonado. I guess I wouldn't cross them out fully, but I'm not getting there. Like you said, if that's what you want, I'm not saying you must cross it out. All right. Shannon's asking about Andrew Abbott. That's a no for me.
Ooh, buddy. We'll talk about Abbott here in just a minute.
I'm assuming we're going to talk about him when we talk about Baltimore because Baltimore looks like one of the better hitting spots today. Good lineup there. Again, they got O'Neal back as well. Baltimore, I think, is going to be most likely in one of the top tiers. When we do tiers, which we're going to do in just a second, we should go ahead and reveal today's tiers category. The second clue, by the way, we'll go ahead and we'll scroll it, we'll play it out, is walk. Walk is the second clue. So roll and walk. Those are our first two clues. So today's tiers, we rank our stacks, throw them in tiers. We give the tiers categories. Today's category, Chop, with the Easter weekend on layaway. Chat, tell me best and worst Easter candy. Best and worst Easter candy. There's not a lot. I thought there'd be more, but there's some that certainly stand out. That some of the people have some passionate thoughts about. So that is our board today. We'll reveal it in a second. But I threw this by you, Chop, and you basically said you're not a big candy guy, so you don't really have a lot of takes. Do you have takes as far as Easter candy?
My takes as far as Easter candy and just candy in general for me is just, if it's got the combination of like chocolate and peanut butter, I'm probably in on it. Straight chocolate is fine too. So I like Hershey's Kisses and the Kit Kats and the M&Ms and stuff like that. When you're talking about just straight up candy, oh man, I haven't had straight up candy in decades. I just don't like it. So like some of that stuff. Now I'm not.
Wait, hold on. You haven't had any candy in decades? Any candy?
No, I like that floury, hard candy. You listed a couple of them on your list that no way, man, haven't. But like I do eat the chocolate stuff. I do eat the Kit Kats, the Reese's Pieces, M&Ms, Hershey's Kisses, all that chocolate.
Hershey's Kisses suck. Why would you eat that if you're gonna open
the Kisses? The chocolate,
yeah,
chocolate. It's chocolate, Dean. I like chocolate.
But as chocolate go, it's in the bottom tier. It's like the worst rung. If you're gonna power it, just chocolate. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, those are all fine, but like, now laters and that kind of candy, I don't like it. Not for me. So I haven't had any of that. So I'm not the candy expert. I like the chocolate stuff. Give me a little chocolate peanut butter combination. We good.
Well then, Chop, you might like our board. I see a lot of people in chat coming at Peeps. Yeah, Peeps are certainly divisive amongst the people. Some Cadbury egg love as well. The board, here it is, Chop. We're going to reveal it momentarily. Number one, well, it's for you. It's just for you, Chopper. The Reese's Pieces, the peanut butter eggs, Cadbury eggs, which, by the way, producer TJ takes liberties. He changed the board.
You were asking me for my opinion. I thought we were building together.
No, it was a final board. I was curious your thoughts, but like I was, you all of a sudden
you didn't word it that way. I thought we were building something as a team here.
No, I was just curious what your pick. So I had Cadbury eggs, just the standard Cadbury eggs. He's got the mini ones, which those aren't the ones that have like the yolk and everything in there. That's the one that's just like chocolate, I think. I don't know.
No, they have like a hard candy shell with a very tasty chocolate in the middle.
Oh, what did you move? Oh, you moved. Okay, you shuffled all sorts of things around.
You said Easter candy. Anything I'm missing here? And so that to me
sell me on something.
Build this with me, and I thought that's what we did.
And yet you didn't tell me, hey, this is what I changed it to.
I did. That's in the conversation.
Right now you did.
Well, change it to yours. I'll adjust it right now. We'll add jelly beans, which aren't even an Easter candy.
Well, they are, but they're not it's a staple, but it's not like,
nope. They're a generic candy.
There are Easter-themed jelly beans. They exist. I had them in the middle.
Sure.
I fired up TJ. Cadbury eggs, second, jelly beans, the hollow chocolate bunny, which is just standard chocolate by itself is not great, but then the hollow one, it's kind of misleading. You've seen the hollow chocolate bunny. It's not good. And then Peeps. But the people are right. They kind of suck. I mean, if you're going to have the sugar and the terrible, have something that tastes good. And they're like mid at best and mostly terrible. There you go. And the chat seems to agree that the Peeps are not. I don't know how Peeps are still a thing. But somebody's buying them. And they have all sorts of funky flavors as well. Maybe we can go through the flavors another day. But that is our categories. Let's go ahead and knock out our stacks. First game we're going to talk about here, it's the Yankees in Tampa. St. Pete, if you want to get all tactical, Carlos Rodon taking on Drew Rasmussen. You mentioned you like Rasmussen a good bit. This is one of the better weather games. It's in the mid-80s here in Tampa. This, of course, is Tampa, St. Pete. This is where the Yankees play their spring training. I feel really confident in saying this game's going to be a sellout, going to be a hopping crowd. I don't know what a sellout is, 15,000? I have no idea what the sellout capacity is here in St. Pete, but it's going to be a fun atmosphere, I imagine. Yankees playing their spring training home. New York, Rays, where are we throwing these teams?
We're still tipping, Dean. Still tipping.
What do you mean?
You get that reference?
No.
You don't get that?
No.
Oh, dang.
Is that something the kids are saying these days? I understand what.
Oh, man. It's what they used to say.
Okay.
If you're part of the Houston rap scene, still tipping on fofos.
Do you think I know what fofos are, but I don't know what's still tipping.
Still tipping on. So both these teams are going in 4. Fofo. Both in the 4 category. I can't really listen. I already talked about Rasmussen.
The Mike Jones thing? Okay. I'm aware of his existence.
I like Rasmussen. There's no way I could put the Yankees high on this one. And Rodon is he can get shelled for an inning after looking great for 5 innings. But that's not going to do much for my stack in the long game. So I don't want to stack too much against them. So both of these guys belong in that 4th category. Hollow Chocolate Bunny, which is not quite the nut low, but not much far off.
I love that Chop thought there was a chance that I was up on the Houston rap scene. I appreciate a good reference, but it's for somebody. Somebody enjoyed it, I'm sure. But it just confused me. Trick, by the way, Trick is the 3rd clue today for Film Friday. We already have a winner. But if you still want to play it out for funsies, we'll reveal the winner soon enough. We'll tell you what's going on here as far as the clues. The Reds, the Orioles, Andrew Abbott taking on Cade Povich. We talked about the Orioles getting Tyler O'Neill back, so he makes that lineup look definitively better. You got a cheap Gary Sanchez in there if you need like a punt catcher, a DK. He might be your cash game catcher, to be honest, if you're playing cash games. Maybe spend up to get yourself some rushmen to be different. Adley is leading off today. Revenge game for Austin Hayes and batting cleanup here for the Reds if you like things of that sort. They are pretty cheap. Well, outside of Ellie De La Cruz and McLean is pretty expensive on DK, fair price on FanDuel. Where do you have the Reds and the O's?
So it's interesting. These 2 pitchers they're kind of alike, right? Well, in a lot of different ways. Statistically, they are. They're both left-handed, right? They're both left-handed. Their xFIP over the last year plus now is separated by like 0.014 or something like that. They both over that same time frame, 19.7% K rate, both over that same time, 8.8% walk rate. Like they're like the identical pitchers. But I've got the Cincinnati lineup in tier 3, and I've got Baltimore in tier 1. They're going to be a tier 1 for me. I like Baltimore a lot in this matchup. Maybe it's just due to Abbott. Well, it's lineup strength, number 1. You've got some guys in that Baltimore lineup who can hit for home runs, and he's a little bit more prone to the home run than Povich. So in the Cincy lineup in general, has some good pieces. Ellie De La Cruz is awesome, but as far as like stacks and home runs and all that good stuff, I think I favor the Baltimore lineup so much more. So they're in tier 1 for me, and Cincy's in tier 3.
Abbott, 1.64 homers per 9, dating back to last season. That's too many, and he gives up a ton of fly balls. So I like the Baltimore side as well. I love the idea of homer hunting. And we said this before in a previous show about Tyler O'Neill, the best ISO amongst lefties that qualify dating back to last season, with the exception of Aaron Judge. So love seeing Tyler O'Neill in that lineup today. The Mariners, the Blue Jays, 8 total. Bowden Francis taking on Brian Wu. I think these are 2 offenses that are going to be kind of neglected. You got a really cheap Vladdy on FanDuel. He's like $3K over there. J-Rod seems a little bit too expensive. Don't mind the big dumper there in Cal Raleigh. Rosarena is kind of waking up as well. But this is kind of a mostly a stay away from me as far as offenses outside of large field stuff. Where are you at as far as Seattle and Toronto?
Yeah, let me pull this mic up here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
I'm just adjusting the mic here. All right, so like Seattle gets to go on the road into a pretty good hitting environment. And, finally, they're used to playing in that cavernous ballpark. So I always give them a little bump up on the road, especially in spots like this. So I'm going to put them in tier 3 here. I don't necessarily want to attack Bowden Francis. He's been good, but I don't think he's as good as he's shown. I think some of that will wear off at some point. But I like Seattle going into a better hitting environment. So we'll put them in tier 3. Toronto against Brian Wu. Yeah, I think I'm not the projection wizard here at RG, but I think he's kind of under projected today. I think he's a much more solid pitcher than what the projections are giving him credit for. So I'm going to put Toronto in tier 4. I think he's pretty good. He doesn't walk guys. He's pretty good about that and doesn't give up a lot of home runs. And he doesn't necessarily have a particular side of the plate that does well against him. So it's just a pretty good all-around pitcher. And I'm going to put Toronto down in tier 4.
One positive as far as Wu is that 6, 6, and 7 is 3 games as far as innings pitched. Now, he's been super efficient, but they let him throw 91 pitches last game. Again, he was crazy efficient. He can do that because he's got pretty good control. Not the best strikeout guy, but he's fine, 21.8%. But dating back to last season, 3.1% walks. So, like, that's what he lacks in strikeouts. He has the ability to go 7 innings, assuming that pitch count doesn't get too silly because historically they have kind of babied him to some degree. Just got the Brewers and the Twins, by the way. Is Correa in there? He is in the lineup. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about St. Louis and the Mets. 8 total. Miles Michaelis taking on David Peterson. Wind is blowing out toward left field at about 18 miles per hour or so. I did see that Weather Edge liked it, but I want to say it was a very small sample, so I didn't get too excited about it, but it was of note. By the way, Weather Edge had a 48% bump in homers, 22% bump in runs for the Cubs. So it was definitely pointing in the direction of there's going to be some homers today in Wrigley. Yeah, so it's a 6-game sample chop, and again, I don't want to 6 games. 165% bump in homers in 6 games. I'm not losing my mind over it, but it's of note, I guess. 18 mile per hour wind, 39's to do. Not a big sample to get this much. This cool and this much win, and Nicholas does not miss bats, so I think the Mets are very live today. Your thoughts, St. Louis Metropolitans?
Yeah, like if I was John Henry Hammer or whatever those sports guys are that give out the picks and you know say
John Anthony,
John
Matthew
whatever,
McConaughey?
yeah. This is where you'd say, don't walk, run to your book and put in the over. How can this total be so low when there's 165% increase in home runs with this weather? This is crazy. There's too many home runs right here, man. This total is way too low. But I think ultimately I'm going to put the Mets in tier 2 just for you, man, because the weather
was right.
The weather is pretty good. I know it's a small sample, but it's good weather, and you know, Nicholas has his issues. He's certainly not striking anybody out. So, yeah, I like the lineup. Let's put them in tier 2. And St. Louis is going to go 1 down. It's going to go in tier 3. I want to pick on Peterson. You know, I really tried, but I just couldn't find a real reason to move the Cardinals up any more than this. Like this is giving him the most I can give him. He's just a really rock solid pitcher who doesn't really give up that many home runs in the first place. Yeah, I don't know, man. I couldn't do it. So I'm keeping them in tier 3.
They have the speedster Scott leading off. Baker is interesting, but like he just feels like a big pinch hit risk for me. You know, once we lose Peterson, probably gets 3 at bats. Where's Peterson, and then we'll see. Depending on Contreras is kind of cheap too, but it hasn't been a spectacular start for him this season. Let's move on. White Sox, Red Sox, Hunter Dobbins, Martin Perez. 2 of the best hitters are left-handed here, taking on Martin Perez, Duran, and Devers, but still Boston with almost a 5.7 team total here. Again, we got Bregman back. It's kind of rough. It falls off afterwards as far as that Boston lineup, but I'd rather them face a righty, of course. But Vegas is telling us that we should be paying attention to Boston. Of course, Martin Perez is backed up by one of the weaker pens as well in the league. Boston, Chicago, what do you got?
Let me pull them up. Boston and who are they playing? Chicago. Okay. Here's what I got for you, Dean. Let's go the White Sox in tier 4. I got them in tier 4. It's Hunter Dobbins. Don't know a lot about him. But I mean, the White Sox are just like, I think this is doing them a favor by putting them in tier 4. They should be in tier 5, but I'm going to put them in tier 4 just because I don't know enough about Hunter Dobbins, and you never know. But that's just a weak lineup. That's especially
Robert as well.
Yeah, especially weakened without Robert. By the way, that tier 4, that makes for some nice look. We got building blocks right now on the board, so that's good. Good thing I did that. Look at that. That's nice.
You need
that's
5
nice.
teams in peeps now. I don't know if you're going to do it.
Nice. Well, you never know. There's a lot of bad weather coming up. You never know. But Boston against Martin Perez. My goodness, Dean. I really want to put Boston in tier 1, but I'm not going to. Like, I just don't. It's the highest team total on the board is Martin Perez. He's just not particularly good. He'll walk guys. He won't strike guys out. This and that. He's a lefty, so righties get that platoon split advantage on him. But I'm only going to put him in tier 2 because they are struggling a little bit, and that lineup features. So if you strike out more than 25% of the time, you're a high strikeout guy. That means a quarter of your at bats every game you're prone to strike out. That's a lot. So if I go by that criteria, they got 7 guys in this lineup tonight that are high strikeout guys against left-handers. That's a lot. That's a rally killer, and so I'm going to bump them down to tier 2 as opposed to tier 1, which I would like to do for them, but I'm going to put them in tier 2.
Yeah, Martin Perez also gets a lot of ground balls, fair bit of ground balls, and against lefties, he's been good. He's been pretty good dating back to last season. His ISO at 107, well about 295. Jason Hayward, by the way, scratched for San Diego. I don't know who's jumping in that lineup, but probably not somebody very good.
That was the Hayward revenge.
Is it Jason Hayward? Oh, yeah, that's right.
For that month and a half he spent in Houston last year.
Great locker room guy. Remember they said what an amazing locker room guy that he was on the Cubs when they won the World Series? He allegedly gave this great speech when they were in between rain delay against Cleveland. Was it Game 7? I think it was Game 7. Everybody forgets Rajai Davis had an incredible home run because Cleveland ended up winning. I think he had a home run in the 9th inning. And then Ben Zobrist had like a weak dribbler that ended up getting the win there for Chicago. 4th clue for Film Friday is mug. Roll, walk, trick, mug. We're just playing out the string. This is like spring training because we already got a winner. I think they know. They definitely know. I haven't officially announced it, but they're figuring it out. They know what movie it is in the Discord, and it's a repeat winner as well. Okay. Next game here, Chop, is, it's the Dodgers. No, I skipped the Braves. It's Minnesota and Atlanta, 8 total. Chris Paddock, who's seen better days for sure against Bryce Elder. We talked about Verdugo he's leading off here for Atlanta. Achipi, DeJour. They also have Ozuna back. So Atlanta, and it's hotter. It's in the 80s. It's not exactly full-fledged hot Atlanta like we're going to see in June and July, but it is heating up to some degree. I mentioned Matt Olson earlier, getting 2.9K Matt Olson, which is pretty goofy in my estimation. Your thoughts, Atlanta, Minnesota?
My thoughts on this one are that I think both teams to just no need to be suspenseful here. Both of these teams are going to go in tier 2 for me. Cadbury cream eggs. I don't think they belong in tier 1. They're not quite good enough, but I think they both have a reason to be in tier 2. Chris Paddock. The case for Atlanta would be that he is a big. He can give up some. He'll give up some home runs. He's a really decent pitcher for a little while, and then he starts to fall apart. He'll give up some home runs. So I'm going to give those guys the tier 2 treatment, even though they're struggling on offense. And Minnesota, I'm going to put now, despite the lowish team total here, I kind of like Minnesota. I kind of like this power. I kind of like some spots in this lineup. So I'm going to put them in tier 2 also, even though I think with a roughly 3.7, I haven't updated in a while. It was 3.7 team total earlier. That's usually not tier 2 material right there. But I'm going to put them there because, Bryce Elder kind of stinks right now, man. He gives up a lot of hard hit contact, doesn't strike very many guys out, will get beat from both sides of the plate. So he doesn't own a particularly good advantage on either side of the plate. So I'm not a big Bryce Elder fan. I think there's some spots here in this lineup with some big power potential. including Correa. You mentioned him earlier. Correa and Buxton. I think he's got like 4 steals on the year already, which is pretty good for him. And he's injury prone. They don't let him run that much, but they're letting him run. Yeah, they let him run this year. So, you got that. That's great for your stacks too. So I think there's some good spots here for Minnesota. I'm putting them in tier 2, both of these teams.
I did do the deep dive on Matt Olson, and it's not been a good start from this year from a raw, just his actual output. But if you're diving in as far as the, the extracurricular, the advanced stats, he's actually got a career high in hard hit percentage, career high in exit velocity, career high in walks, career high in xWOBA, and career high in barrel percentage. However, what's the issue, Chop? His launch angle stinks. He's hitting the ball on the ground. His launch angle is terrible as of right now, but he's hitting it hard, just right into the ground. So again, he's one of my favorite plays on the slates, especially on FanDuel, where the price is really goofy. If you're playing cash games over there, that's one of the places I would start when building a lineup playing Matt Olson. Okay, we have 4 more games. Looks like 4 more games. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got to pick up the pace just a little bit. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Help us keep the proverbial lights on. Crunch time. You got Beermakersfan. We got Beermakersfan on a Friday. Chief mineralogist Kevin Roth coming in, as well as 2-time millionaire winner Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood. It is the Dodgers and the Rangers. 7.5 total. That is a paltry total. 2 studs, potentially 2 studs, historically 2 studs. Yamamoto and DeGrom. No Dodger lineup just yet. If you want to be different, you want to be contrarian, you'll roster some offenses here. Some revenge. Jock Jams, Corey Seager. How vengeful are those guys? I don't know. If you care about such things. Your thoughts on the Dodgers and the Rangers?
Yeah, I've got thoughts. And my thoughts go something like this, Dean. Texas against a very good pitcher. I know Seager's awesome, but I'm not going too high on a team with this low of a team total against a really good pitcher. And it's not even the same Texas ballpark it was 3 years ago where, you could launch the ball out. It's not like that anymore. So, unfortunately for Texas, I've got to put them in tier 4. Don't necessarily like them that much. The Dodgers, on the other hand, although I don't want to pick on DeGrom. First of all, Dean, if you can somehow, DeGrom, you work his pitch count up and you can get him out early, the Texas bullpen is not talented at all. So you've got that work. Like, you can make your whole stack in the last 4 innings if it comes to that, if you can get to that point. So that's a good thing. Now, DeGrom's pretty good, but the reason why I'm gonna put the Dodgers in tier 2. And hear me out on this one, Dean, against DeGrom. The bullpen is a big factor, and DeGrom might get out. You might be able to get him out of there early. But what I'm seeing from RG Opto, the RG stack, projections, the Dodgers, because of that lineup, have roughly a 10% chance of being the highest scoring stack on the night. The bat seems to agree with that. They have, the bat, and Cardi has the projections on the Dodgers relatively high, considering you're facing DeGrom. And yet the ownership on those first 5 guys in the lineup is pretty darn low. So you've got that advantage right there. That's what you call an under the radar. When they ask on the survey, which I didn't do today, who's the under the radar stack of the day that you like? Something like that, where a team's projected really well, but it's not picking up the ownership, maybe because of the name DeGrom or whatever. So I'm going to put them in tier 2 just for the leverage of it.
That is a good segue, Chop, and you tell me, I thought when I was writing it, I thought it was an under-the-radar stack. I thought they're like 5th or 6th or 7th. But my under-the-radar stack today, Chop, is your Houston Astros. The Houston Astros at home against Kyle Hart. Kyle Hart taking on Ryan Gusto. Hart, he won the KBO equivalent to the Cy Young last year, and good for him. But what we've seen so far is too many walks, not enough strikeouts, too many fly balls, too many homers. And the other interesting thing about Houston, we talk about their lineup all the time, it's all righties. No team has faced fewer left-handed pitchers this season as far as actual at-bats. They faced it's like 70 at-bats the entire season. Basically every starter they've seen this year, except maybe one, it's not a lot, has been righties. And I think this Houston team's going to start turning it around because, again, it's an entirely right-handed lineup with the exception of Yordan Alvarez. Tonight, they get that flipped. They're going to have the platoon advantage essentially every single bat, with the exception of Alvarez, and then who knows with the bullpen. But I'm very much on the Astros tonight. maybe one of my Dean's Dongs will be somebody in Houston. Yeah, it will. You tell me. Are you in agreement? Do you like the Astros? I like them a good bit tonight.
Well, Dean, I'll say that I got them in tier 2. I couldn't quite put them in tier 1. Just, I don't know. But a tier 2 seems fair to me. We don't have a lot of sample on Hart or Augusto, so like we're kind of guessing on some of that as to what they're going to be in this game. Well, we think at least one of them has a chance to be pretty good long term, but in this particular game, it's tough. But I'm going to put them in tier 2. The lineup, they do get the left-handed thing now. We'll see if that pays off for them tonight. Yeah, they've hit the ball hard. Some of those guys just really bad luck. We know some, Yainer Diaz is not this. He's just starting off poor. This could have been a 3-week stretch in the summertime, and nobody would have really noticed. But when you start a year off and you can't get a hit or can't get very much going, it's kind of amplified and people jump out. So, but I think they'll all get it going. So I like it. I like your call there. But I'm put them in tier 2. Couldn't quite go to tier 1 with them. San Diego, just because Gusto has swing and miss stuff, I'm going to put San Diego in tier 3. And because, yeah, you're right. Once you get past the first portion of that lineup, yeah, it can get a little ugly on the back end. So I'll put them in tier 3, San Diego.
Looks like I'm trying to see who's replacing Hayward. Tatis, Arise, Machado, Bogart, Sheets, Gonzalez, Iglesias, Wade, Maldonado. I think Gonzalez is new. I'm pretty sure he was not starting, and now he is starting. By the way, Chop, you got it right. You got Film Friday correct. You nailed it.
Man,
shout out to you. You weren't first. You weren't the person like that.
Yeah, it's nah.
You don't want that?
It's a little bittersweet, man.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. 5th clue, by the way, if you guys are still playing at home, the 5th clue is facts. Facts. Now that's FAX, not FACTS. Just to be clear. That is our 5th clue. Shout out to Peterman, who's won this several times. Shout out to you. Producer TJ, I presume, is sliding in and hooking them up with the RG Premium as we speak. But yeah, got it in 1. We'll explain that momentarily. Okay, let's move on. Athletics, Brewers, JT Ginn, and Freddie Peralta. For a little bit over a 4-team total for Milwaukee. Peralta pretty heavy favorite, 1.75. Minus 175. We talk about this Athletics offense, the front half being really, really good. Butler, Rooker, the leader in baseball and homer, Soderstrom. Langoliers, Bleday, it falls off pretty quickly. Wilson, he makes contact. He doesn't strike out. Good singles guy, but not a lot of punch, not a ton of power. Yeah, where do we – and also they said Durbin's batting 9th today. He'll be the 3rd baseman for the foreseeable future for Milwaukee. I saw a note there. Yeah, A's, Brewers, what do you got?
Yeah, Milwaukee's going to go in tier 3 for me. JT Ginn is we have a small sample size. He seems okay. Nothing super exciting, but neither is the Milwaukee offense. Like, they're not great or anything. So just the average. I can't really put my finger on it. So I'm going in tier 3 with that one. Freddie Peralta, good pitcher. Oakland lineup, I think a very good lineup. So what's going to give tonight? I don't like Peralta necessarily going against this lineup, but I don't like this lineup either going against Peralta. And a pretty decent bullpen if they keep it close and you get the good arms coming out of it. So Oakland's going to be in tier 4 for me, but Oakland's a team. A lot of nights I want to stack throughout the course of this season. 162 games, just not against the ace pitchers, and I think Peralta is pretty close to an ace tier. So I just don't want to stack against them. I'll put them in tier 4, but man, I like this Oakland lineup moving forward. I really do.
You keep doing it too, Chop. I keep calling them Oakland. They're not Oakland. I know it's not. I'm not calling you out on it.
Well,
I've heard a bunch.
What do we call? Because I can't call them athletics.
We're just calling them athletics. Yeah, they don't.
No. There's got to be
a on the MLB site. It doesn't say Oakland. It's
I know, but it's not athletics. Athletics. There's got to be a first name there.
Sacramento. They're Sacramento right now.
Okay, let's call them.
I'm not calling you out. I keep doing it too.
Well, listen, our graphic right there says Oakland Athletics, so I can't help myself.
Well, blame it on TJ for not getting an updated board this year. By the way, unofficial sponsor, Audible. If you want a monthly deal with Audible, shop now and click the link that probably wouldn't work. But there you go on the board. Audible it was Home Depot the other day. Josh is saying the Sacktown A's, the soon-to-be Vegas A's. Yeah, I don't know what to call them either. I just keep calling them Oakland as well. But Athletics, A's.
Vegas is baseball in Vegas going to work out?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
You think they'll get big crowds and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, hockey is going great there. They pay to watch the terrible Raiders. I know NFL is king, but you build vacations out of that. But yeah, if you're in Vegas for a week or 3 or 4 days, even if you're not an Athletics fan, you'll go and watch a game, right? If you're in Vegas for 3 or 4 days and there's a baseball game right next to the Mirage or wherever, I guess the Mirage is only the Mirage. That's turning into the Hard Rock. But yeah, I think it'll work for sure. And they're getting basketball too. LeBron's going to own the Vegas team in about 5 years. Write that one down. Write that down. And the almanac, it gave me a heads up on that one. Okay, the last game. Last game on the board. We have crunch time coming here soon. It's the Giants, the Angels. No lineups just yet. Logan Webb, one of the safer, better pitchers on the bump, taking on Tyler Anderson, who's not been great. I think the walks are actually greater than the Ks, which is never a good sign. The sample's not huge, but that's kind of an alarming thing. And everything's a ballpark bump for San Fran, getting out of their beautiful ballpark. Let's see. On the season, why can't I find this? What are his K? 15%. Oh, no, it's not that bad, but it's bad. 15% walks, 23% Ks for Anderson. Where do you have the Giants and the Angels?
All right. So Steve sometimes takes the liberty of putting teams in places, and then he doesn't change them back when you tell him where you want them to go. You know what I'm saying? TJ's done a great job.
TJ's on top of things. You're calling him out, Steve.
I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying sometimes that happens.
He's multitasking.
Yeah. So but TJ's done a great job. Everything's perfectly in order, and it's going to be important to follow through here on this last one, so we get the board I want to get here, which I didn't plan for, but it's going to look good here. The San Francisco team is against Tyler Anderson. He's actually, every time I go to stack against him, he actually keeps the ball in the ballpark and does pretty. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. So I'm not really in love with the San Fran stack, but you can get to Tyler Anderson with the platoon split. So I'm going to put them in tier 3. They're just kind of neutral, San Fran is. Now the Angels are going against a guy who just keeps the ball on the ground, just doesn't let you elevate in the air. That's just tough to stack against. Can you get to it with Trout and Taylor Ward or some kind of crazy combination? Man, you'd have to get lucky for a stack to pay off, I think, against Logan Webb tonight. So I don't like it at all. Angels are going in tier 5 for me. And
look what we built.
Yeah, look at what happened there. It looks very symmetrical. Very symmetrical.
I would do, by the way.
One would say it's almost a phallic symbol. Almost. I mean, I'm not saying it.
People are saying.
Some would say that.
Webb at 0.47 homers per 9. Did he make the last season? Just does not give a lot of fly balls, and it's just hard to really fully get to him. And yeah, I'm not playing Angels. I know they're disappointed for how many days, and all of a sudden how baseball works. Maybe they just kind of jump up there out of nowhere, but I'm out. Let me go ahead and give the recap. We'll talk about today's Film Friday. Chop, get the knockers ready and get the BBP suggestion of the day ready as well, as crunch time's coming in here momentarily. But let's give the rundown as far as the board. One team all by their lonesome, hanging out with the Reese's peanut butter eggs. Cadbury eggs. Cadbury eggs is pretty loaded. You got Mets, Red Sox, Twins, Braves, Dodgers, Astros, hanging out there right in the middle with Jelly Beans, Cincinnati, Seattle, the Cards, San Diego, Milwaukee, and the Giants. The hollow chocolate bunny is the Yankees, the Rays, Toronto, the White Sox, Texas, and Oakland. And all by their lonesome, Mike Trout is hanging out with those gross peeps. Okay, so Film Friday, roll, walk, trick, mug, facts. Peterman in chat actually gave the reasoning as to why he came to the conclusion that on one clue, he knew what roll meant. Roll, Kaiser roll, Kaiser roll, Kaiser Soze. 2, walk. Of course, there's the famous fair. Whatever. It's been 25 years. If you haven't seen it, more than 25 years. There's kind of a reveal scene with somebody walking, kind of a famous scene. Trick. Famous line from the movie The Greatest Trick That the Devil Ever Pulled was convincing the world he did not exist. Mug. Famously, Chaz Palminteri drops his mug. It shatters when he realizes something. And again, my bad. I'm not spoiling. This is 30 years, statute of limitations. If you haven't seen it by now, that's on you. And I don't know. Is this the most famous fax scene in a movie? You don't see faxes very often. Do faxes still exist? Not sure. But remember, there was a picture of one of the characters sent via fax that was a big reveal. Is there another movie that has a fax scene? Oh, Back to the Future 2, when they fired Marty McFly. Like 7 different faxes came in. Okay, Chop. Knockers.
Well,
what do you got?
There was also a fax scene in The Rock. The Rock. It was a movie with The Rock.
Which one?
And Billy Bob Thornton, and he was out of prison. Or no, yeah, he came out of prison. He hunted down the whole gang that killed his brother. I forget the name of the movie. Maybe the chat can help me out.
I'm not sure. That's a lot going on. By the way, apparently Ohtani was scratched. Is
not scratched? He hasn't been placed. There's no lineup yet, but he just got placed on the paternity list, so not going to be in that lineup when it comes
Faster.
out.
Faster was the name of Faster was the name of it. Yes, Vinny. Thank you, Vinny. Faster. It's a really good movie. Billy's got some big stars in it. Adebisi from that prison movie on HBO. He plays a preacher at the end. Anyway, you'd have to see it, but there's a big fact scene at the end that just blows your mind, Dean. So yeah, check it out. Faster. Anyway, BVP suggestion of the day. Tough. This is a tough one tonight. Not a lot out there, but Wilmer Flores against Tyler Anderson. Yeah, let's go one off. Let's one off a Wilmer Flores bomb here. So Wilmer Flores, BVP suggestion of the day, and my knockers. These knockers aren't close together in the order. These knockers are a little bit more spread out. This is not the Triple G. We need to bring that back.
Is that still
these are the knockers. They're a little bit spread. This is a 3-6 combination. Number 3 in the order, number 6 in the order. But I'm going to hit some home runs. I'm going to get lots of extra base hits out of this combo. Tyler O'Neill, Jordan Westberg.
Well, that's pretty good. I like that combination for sure. Crunch time is coming in. Was that Oz, by the way, you were talking about? Oz is a TV show. You're referencing Oz?
Yes, the TV show on HBO. The prison show, yeah. Oz was it. Yeah, that was a good little.
I only saw like bits and pieces of it. It was kind of but I hear it's good. I wonder if it's held up or not, but it's not for the kids. I'm aware of that.
No, it's not for the kids. It held up. I think I watched it a couple years back.
Oh, you gave it a rewatch?
Yeah.
Okay. Crunch time coming in right now. Let's go ahead. Let's talk to Beermakersfan, Dave Potts, Kevin Roth. Let's do it. Crunch time. All right, couple of things. We'll get Roth's weather in a second. Nice call, Roth, on telling us that's going to be basically knocked out in cores tonight. We're down to 10. Oh, Roth, you were all over the Cubs today as well, Arizona?
That's what I thought you were going to say, because I got so much hate the first 6 innings of that game. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's not windy. Where are the home runs? Where's the?" And bam! All of a sudden, there was 8 home runs and 24 runs scored. So,
did you reply to everybody afterwards and say like, "Well, how about now?"
Yeah,
you that kind of guy?
I don't know. It looks like maybe the winds mattered a little bit.
So best Easter candy was the board today. There's not a lot of like Easter specific stuff.
Quick thank you on that, Roth, because I hit an $800 parlay on homers for that game.
Good job, TJ.
There you go. Give him a little kickback. Give him a little taste. Best Easter candy? I mean, Peeps is basically, it was just a list to like acknowledge Easter and like
no Peeps. Come on.
Well, Peeps is in the gutter.
It was a good list.
I was gonna say that's straight to the trash. One of my daughters loves Peeps, and I can't understand it.
Yeah. Dave, you got a Peeps take?
Oh, I'm fine with them at the bottom for sure. Yeah. My only Easter candy take, and I was fine where you had them, but like the Cadbury cream eggs to me are a generational talent. Like that's one of the greatest candies of all time.
TJ was
and I think it's
wrong.
Great. Yeah, wrong, says Canada.
No, wrong. Not you're wrong. Dean's wrong. I was not besmirching them.
Oh, I thought
you were not besmirching. Good.
Oh, I must have misread.
Cream eggs are a GPP play. People either love them or hate them. There's very rarely an in between.
And I think they're better because they only came out once a year. Like if you had them all the time, it'd be too much. But like once a year you have just a few of them, absolutely fantastical in every way.
That is actually the reason I was saying jelly beans shouldn't have been on the list, because not that people don't have them at Easter, but that people have them year round. It's not like they only have them at Easter.
Confirmed that people have them year round.
Yeah.
I had to pad the list. There's not a lot of Easter specific candies, and there's.
I gave you them, and you got mad at me for putting them on, Dean.
What I loved was the hollow chocolate bunny being near the bottom. Like, that's such a disappointment every time. Like, every year I get fooled by it. I'm like, this is going to be great, and it's just like the chocolate's not that good, and it crumbles apart, and there's nothing in there. It's really a disappointment.
Why does it weigh so? Why is it so light?
Yes.
So, Dave, before we go, I'm just curious. You wrote today in the article you were hyping up Jacob deGrom, and he was going to be fairly under-owned, relatively speaking. You're getting a bit of a discount. How much do you think things are changing now that Ohtani's not going to play?
I think this is late enough news that we're fine. If we knew this at noon, deGrom would have gotten a little too much hype. And really, it's not the same matchup. It's still a hard matchup against the Dodgers. It's not like all of a sudden it's a great matchup because Ohtani's out. But I think it's late enough in the day. We're not going to see a bunch of people flocking to deGrom.
All right, fair enough. Myself and Chop, we knocked out the first hour and 15 minutes. Did we not see? Wait a second. Did we not have 50 likes to get Spidey bombs? Is TJ slacking, or is Spidey slacking? Why have we not seen Spidey bombs? We don't have 50 likes.
Rolling about 50% of the show whenever I took out the film Friday. You just never acknowledged it a single time.
I wanted you to verbalize it. I like when you jumped in the show like 17 times. You couldn't have done it an 18th time, but fair enough. That's on me. And there are some scrolling right now. I'll add the Dean's Dongs in the chat today as well. But with that, enjoy your Friday. It's Kevin Roth. Take it away.
I was muted. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed crunch time. You know the drill. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz, two of the OGs. In the chat, Crazy Coop noted we have beer and cheese, and that beer and cheese is both a great duo for DFS as well as real-life consumption. I mean, I am in agreement, but I have to say beer cheese, which is a thing. Beer cheese, I don't like it. I love beer. I love cheese. Every time I see beer cheese on a menu, I'm like, oh, yeah, give me some beer cheese with my pretzel. I don't like it. I don't know.
It's like the hollow chocolate bunny. It seems like a good idea, and then it's like...
But it just doesn't
You
work.
guys are wrong. I agree on the hollow chocolate bunny. I agree on the Peeps, but maybe you've just not had the right beer cheese, because I have had both good and bad, like most things. But
that's fair. It's
don't,
maybe not
don't
something
stop trying, Roth. You're
Okay.
going to find one you like.
All right, I'm in. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. We do have the aforementioned beer in the house. One of the OGs in DFS. What up, Beer? How are you?
I'm good, man. Friday, always a fun night of baseball. Not too many weather issues tonight outside of Coors. Some wind spots. So looks like a fun slate. I'm good.
Yeah, I think it should be great for hitting. We'll talk about that in a bit. We got Dave Potts. Cheese is good in the house. Cheese, how are you?
I'm great. We've had several of these this year. Like, I'm getting shows with these people I haven't seen like this decade. Like, honestly, have I seen beer since pre-COVID? I don't think so.
Probably not. I was excited to see you on the slate, my man, or on the schedule. So yeah, it's definitely been a while. We got to get back to the get together.
Yeah,
it's like
we've got we're both
together
from a long time ago.
Yes.
But beer is still using the long time ago ear pods. I upgraded recently.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm with
you. You should check them out.
Nah. I don't trust
I'm glad to see you're still using them. I've got mine.
Geez.
I mean, listen, I've got mine right here, ready
There
to
you
go
go.
when these things stop working on me or zap me or whatever they do.
Yeah, you got to keep those charged. You've got to make sure that they're connected to the right.
Oh, that's why those are sitting right there.
Yeah,
I know at any moment,
baby.
At any moment, these could stop working. I'm fully aware of that.
This is easy. Guys, let's dive into this slate. We got a lot going on. We got a decent amount of games here, and we do have to talk about some weather. Of course, the Coors game that got scratched early. I was kind of hoping they were going to play. It was like 3-4 inches of snow. I was like, come on, do it. It would be awesome. But they probably rightfully canceled that game. But now we've got some big wins. We saw the wins in Wrigley. That was the biggest wind game. But still, you look at some of these games in Philly, winds are blowing out. In Baltimore, winds are blowing out. In New York, winds are blowing out. In Boston, winds are blowing out. In Atlanta, it's 82 degrees. In Tampa, it's 85 degrees. This is by far the best hitting slate that we've seen so far this year. every other game, every other day has been maybe 1 or 2 spots that are good, and then a bunch of cold weather games. We're turning it around. There are going to be many, many home runs and many runs scored. So make sure you are taking advantage of those good weather games. But let's talk about some of the pitching first. Cheese, you want to start us off there?
Sure. It's one of these slates that's kind of good in that there's plenty of pretty good pitchers, but it's really not clear at all who the guy is. Like, we don't have that 1 or 2, like, you're definitely good here with massive upside. What I would say is Yamamoto is probably the closest thing to this guy's going to be good and he has upside. But he is the most expensive on both sites. And it's not at all that you have to have this guy. It's just if we were playing a no salary cap game, I would just play him. Given that I don't think really anyone hits some mega ceiling game, I'm much more on board with the kind of boring but always good Logan Webb. If I was playing cash games, say, which, I do not play cash games, but I would play Webb as my SP1. And just know that he's almost always good. And then Freddie Peralta is the third of that kind of upper echelon spend ups. And he's kind of in between Webb and Yamamoto. Like, he's definitely not safe against Oakland, whoever, against West Sacramento. Sometimes he walks too many guys. Sometimes he gives up power. Maybe the A's hit 5 home runs in a row from that amazing top of the lineup. So he's third for me of that group. But all 3 of those guys are good and fine. And, like, I feel like you'll get some points from strikeouts with Peralta, Yamamoto, and just Webb because he's good. And then we get to ye old Jacob deGrom, who could be hanging out with me and beer because he definitely used to be good as well.
Are you calling us no good anymore?
We are maybe over the hill, but
no, maybe about it. We're over the hill.
Potentially, I talked about this for a long time in the musings today. Everything that I see with deGrom tells me that he is still really good. No one anywhere thinks he's still the guy he was 4 years ago. This is not the best pitcher of all time anymore. That's gone. But when you look at the stuff and the velocity and the swinging strikes, my best guess is he is basically the same pitcher as Yamamoto right now. I don't know that. There could be more wrong. Maybe he continues to have the control issues, and like he admitted last time, he just missed a couple spots, and that led to the home runs. Certainly, the Dodgers can hit home runs. This is one I have no idea what deGrom's going to do tonight, but I feel pretty confident that in the long run of this season, deGrom is still an ace. And right now, he's priced down and he's not high owned. Therefore, I love him.
Yeah,
I really do. I'm not confident that he's going to be good tonight, but I am confident that I'm playing him. So take that for what it is. After that group, Drew Rasmussen is arguably also the best pitcher on this slate on a per inning basis. But he doesn't get the innings. Like, he has a significantly lower pitch count, and he's facing the Yankees, where you just mentioned it's not great pitching weather. So he's kind of just below deGrom for me. Carlos Rodon in the same game, kind of same thing. He's got some upside, but got some risk. So they're all fine. But I prefer deGrom. And then we start playing with cheap nonsense. And there's a lot of cheap nonsense that is viable, mostly on DK. On FanDuel, deGrom is 7,900, which is pretty silly. I'm not going below deGrom. But on DK, we've got like Hunter Dobbins, we got JT Ginn, we've got Cade Povich, we've got Bowden Francis. I think all those guys are very viable. I would say probably Francis and Ginn are my 2 favorites, but it's really just a mix and match of those names, and just kind of hope you get lucky.
Okay. Beer, seems like we've got a lot of options here. Some that we feel okay about. I love Cheese's quote, and Devin put it in quotes here. I'm not confident he'll be good, but I'm confident I'll be playing him in deGrom. Maybe we'll start there. Are you playing deGrom? Because as Cheese mentioned, we probably won't get him, if he's good, at this price and this ownership ever, if he ends up, being legit.
Yeah, probably the line of the night right there. It's going to be tough to top that one, but I'm not as excited, but I do agree. I think a lot of people want to say he's washed, he's done. This generation moves on very quickly. Us old school, plug-in headphones guys, Roth. We like to give a guy a little bit of leash and see what he's got. So Ohtani being out obviously, helps tremendously. Limited sample, but he has struggled with lefties this season. So taking that bat out of the lineup certainly will be a boon. So he's intriguing. I'm not as high as Cheese, but I trust his evaluation, digging deep and looking into some of those numbers. So with that, I'm getting a little bit more excited about him. So I agree on Yamamoto at the top. There's nobody I'm like, gotta have him. This guy's locked in, no doubt. This is the guy, but I agree. He's probably the best guy, but as you talked about, we're going to want to get some bats. So it may not be easy to fit, a 10-2 pitcher in your lineup. So Webb, the guy I would go to next, I do like Freddie Peralta. Highlighted him in the 6-pack today. Oakland not striking out. I think second lowest strikeout rate against righties this season. So it is in Oakland, whatever. Sacramento, we're going to say Oakland.
It's fine.
So,
West Sacramento, please.
Yeah.
I love how they're just listed as Athletics. Like nobody knows what city,
Right.
what anything. But Peralta strikeouts have been there, averaging 7 a game. I think there is upside for more. Do we see it in this matchup? Who knows? The Athletics to me still somewhat of a wild card, off to a decent start, but he is a guy that I think does have that 8, 9, 10 strikeout upside in his bag. So those are the top for me. DeGrom's kind of in that next group, and then like she said, kind of the value plays that are down here. So Francis, he brought up. I'll bring up Hunter Dobbins. Anytime I can go against the White Sox, I want to take advantage of that. So his price point will allow you to either you want to go 2 middle pitchers and load up on bats, or spend up on the Yamamotos, the Peraltas of the world, and add him into the mix. So he's intriguing. And then Bryce Elder. I worry a little bit about the Heat there, as you mentioned, but I like the spot against the Twins. It's just a punchless lineup. You basically get around Buxton, you're okay in that lineup. So Dobbins, the guy I really like on the cheap. And then high end, I'm going to say Yamamoto and Peralta are my 2 favorites.
Okay, good stuff, guys. I want to point out we're going to get a 4th Spidey Bomb from TJ at 150 likes. This is free content, and all that we're asking is that you hit that thumbs up for us on the old YouTube or on Twitter or wherever you're watching it. Just make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. We got to talk about some of the bats, but first, I am getting some questions about FanDuel Cash. Cheese, do you have a strong lean there? Who's kind of the?
It's actually way different than I thought at the beginning of the day. The bats are so cheap. I think you play Yamamoto. Like, it's wild how easy it is to fit Yamamoto. It shouldn't be that easy.
Yeah,
but it is.
So play the best pitcher. Okay, easy enough. Let's flip it. Let's talk about the bats and the stacks. Beer, you mentioned, look, there's some games that we can target here, and you want to save a little bit of money to do it. So where are you going? Is there something chalky, and what do you like?
There's 2 teams I really like tonight. First is the Mets, who can be very frustrating. It's Soto off to a slow start, frustrating, but the weather there. I like the matchup with Michaelis. Now it favors a lot of the lefties. We got wind blowing out to left field, so not as advantageous as some of the righties, but I do like Soto tonight. I like Winker. I think that's a solid build with the Mets. I think the Cincinnati-Baltimore game is another weather spot, and Baltimore high team total, but I really like the Reds here as well. The team total not as high as I thought it would be, so that may make them a sneakier stack here against the lefty. A lot of guys in that lineup that hit left-handers well and cheap. Yes, you're going to have to pay for Ellie De La Cruz, but some of the other bats in that lineup are pretty cheap. Austin Hayes hitting cleanup, just 3,300 on DraftKings. He's cheap on FanDuel. Spencer Steer is cheap. McLean, another bat I like, a little bit more expensive, but that's a lineup I really like tonight against Cade Povich. A lot of guys that hit righties well. So Mets and Reds, probably my 2 favorite stacks. I don't want to take them all, so let's see what Cheese has, but those are the 2 that stand out to me, and I don't think the Reds are going to get a whole lot of traction tonight.
Good stuff. Cheese, I want to know your favorite stacks, and also, is there a team we need to be worried about ownership-wise, or is everything kind of spread out enough where that's not a concern?
I think there's no ownership concern. There's
That's
a
right.
couple of individual bats, maybe, but really, I think it's so spread out that you play who you like. I'm very much with Beer on the Mets and both the Orioles and Reds. I like the Orioles and Reds because they both have such cheap bats. And that's part of why I say it's just not that hard to play Yamamoto, even on DK. Like guys like bottom of the order who have power, like Sanchez and Mateo, and then like Noelvi Marte and Spencer Steer. Like all these guys are essentially free. So Mets and that both sides of that game, the Braves, and then I personally love the Giants. Tyler Anderson hasn't basically given up a run in a year and a half, and I still think it just looks like nonsense. And I'll be playing them.
Okay. Good stuff. Well, let's go around the horn. I am getting some weather questions. I'll answer those in the chat. But let's start with some catcher talk. Cheese, you get to lead us off there. We'll work our way all the way around. We'll give you some home run calls, and we'll answer questions as well.
Yeah. So I said there's no chalk, but there may be a couple players that are chalky. That's Cal Raleigh. Like, I think he'll be the highest owned player on the slate, certainly on DK. And I'm here for it. Like, when that guy leaves Seattle, he's basically like Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani put together times 4. It's wild.
He's amazing.
He should be on any other team and he'd hit 700 home runs. Rutschman and Sean Murphy are fine, but like they're more expensive than Raleigh and not as good. So I don't know, you're just being different for the sake of it. Both catchers in that Brewers Athletics game have upside, but they're more expensive than Raleigh. So you're just goofing around to be different. Yainer Diaz and Gary Sanchez are the 2 salary savers I like. Pretty much if I'm not playing Raleigh, I'm playing Gary Sanchez, and then I've just got all the money sitting around.
Okay. Easy enough. Beer?
Yeah, I agree with Sanchez. I mean, $2,100 is gonna open up a lot of things. We mentioned that game, so even if you stack them and maybe you slide your stack down a little bit, to get him in there at the 7 spot will make you a little different instead of a one-off play, which a lot of people go to. And even that, we're only showing 15% right now. I think that's probably a little bit too high. So agree on Cal Raleigh. Guy is a stud. I play him as much as possible. I like the spot against Francis, even though we brought him up as a pitcher. Danny Jansen always in play. Rodon's solid, but can be vulnerable to home runs. So Danny Jansen, a guy with power that you can get in the line, kind of the middle ground between those two guys, and not much else. I don't dig too deep on catchers. It's rare that I play one now that yes, you have to on DraftKings, but FanDuel you don't have to. So those are the 3 I really like, and it's 1 at each price point. Raleigh being my favorite, Sanchez being my favorite value.
Okay, good stuff. Take me to first base, Beer.
First base, my favorite's Freddie Freeman. I hate to rain on the DeGrom parade here, but he's returned. He's been red hot, off to a blistering start against righties this season. A guy that's always hit righties well. So he's my favorite play, probably on the entire slate tonight. So you'll see if DeGrom can get around him or not. But I really like him tonight. I think Luke Raley, another solid play, kind of in that middle range, pretty cheap on DraftKings, one of those cheaper bats. You get surprised earlier in the year. We're going to talk about a lot of guys should probably be more expensive. A 3,200 feels like a good tag on him. And this is a position you have a lot of value at. I mean, guys like Vaughn, Schmidt, Rowdy Tellez. I think there's plenty of value if you don't want to spend up here. But Freeman, the guy that I'm going to spend up on, if I'm going in between, it's probably the Rayleys of the world. Matt Olson, 4,600 looks like a good price. So this is a spot you're not forced to pay up. There's plenty of value, but I really like Freddie Freeman tonight.
Good stuff. Cheese, your thoughts at first base? Sorry, I have a 3-year-old who really wants to show me some artwork. Cheese, what are you doing at first?
Yeah, I have no problem with Freeman, even if you're playing DeGrom, but my spend up is Pete Alonso. And then Matt Olson, more so on FanDuel. Like Matt Olson's too cheap, but I do like him on DraftKings fine. And yeah, Luke Raley, too cheap. There's plenty of cheap stuff like Beer mentioned on DK. You can play a bunch of these guys, but Raley is my favorite. But yeah, really Olson and Alonso are what I'm trying to get to, and it's really not that hard.
Okay, let's go to second base. It has been good roughly 0 times so far this year, and I'm hoping that this is the first. Cheese?
It's actually it's a little better. It's really better on FanDuel because Jordan Westberg's only 2,800. Matt McClain's only 3,300. Like Matt McClain is like $5,300 on DraftKings and 33 on FanDuel, like which makes him a great play on FanDuel, like for the salary, and kind of shaky on DK. I do love Westberg today. And I like McLean a lot, both those guys in that game. Bregman and Altuve are like fine, but I prefer them if I'm stacking those teams. So that's why I like Westberg and McLean. I don't need to be stacking the teams to play those guys. I like Albies pretty well in the mid-tier. We got punts everywhere. It's more for DraftKings because, again, those guys I mentioned on FanDuel are just too cheap. Like, I would not go below Westberg unless you're stacking. But Tyler Fitzgerald, Jorge Mateo, 2,100. Chase Madroth, 2,300, hitting leadoff. You don't have to be good at that point. So I don't mind punting on DK if I can't comfortably get Westberg or McLean.
Okay. Beer, your thoughts a second. You're muted, my guy.
I just didn't want you to feel bad as the only.
Thank you.
on the
Yeah.
show here.
Thanks for joining the party.
You had a kid join. I got a dog barking. Must be more Amazon packages from the wife. But love McLean. Another play from the video today, and that pricing. Rarely do you see that big of a gap. So not that he's out of play on DraftKings. I'd be using him over there as well. But FanDuel, that really stands out as a great price on him at 3,300. But this is a good value spot. I kind of agree with Cheese. Like, guys like Bregman, Chisholm, Jimenez, they're fine, but I don't think you need to go there. So I think this is a decent spot for value. Madroth, like you mentioned, leading off, the opportunity. Espinal's under 3,000, hitting in the top of that lineup. I mentioned I like the Reds. He's in play. Julian, 3,200 leading off. So plenty of ways to save at this position. I'm spending it's McLean, but I think this is a great position to save some money. Plenty of values that we just gave you.
Okay, good stuff. You get to take us to third, Beer.
Third base, again, another spot. I think there's value. There's high-end guys you can go to. Austin Riley stands out. Chris Paddock, to me, not a great pitcher. So I think Cheese mentioned the Braves as one of his stacks. I agree with that one. I think Manny Machado, interesting here against Gusto tonight. Devers finally starting to get it going. Lefty on lefty. I'm not a Martin Perez guy. Numbers have been okay, but I think Devers an interesting play here tonight. And then value, guys like Schmidt, we mentioned, first, third base eligible. Espinal, you can slide over here, hitting at the top of that lineup. So those are probably my two favorite values, but I really like Austin Riley as a spend up here.
Okay, good stuff. Cheese, your favorites at third base, please.
Yeah, there's three that I love: Riley, Chapman, Machado. You can get them. They're not like Machado on DK is priced up a little bit, but again, the FanDuel pricing is just silly. This is why I say just play Yamamoto. Like Riley's 33, Chapman's only 3K. You got Westberg again here, Paredes at 3K. Like they're all too cheap. DK, those three guys I mentioned, Riley, Machado, Chapman, you can get there. I also like Mark Vientos. I think he's a little underpriced. Wilmer Flores, Noel V. Marte they're not as super cheap as those punts at second, but still pretty cheap if you need them.
Yeah. Good stuff. Had somebody just jump in and say, hey, I just got off work. What are the Spidey bombs? Those are scrolling at the bottom of your screen, but there is one more left to go. If we get 200 likes, we get one more Spidey bomb that will be added to the mix. So make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for us, for the OGs, for the content, for the weather, for the home runs that we're going to see, for all the good stuff. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Cheese, you get to bring us to shortstop, I do believe.
Yeah. Relative to the slate, like shortstop isn't as unbelievably great as it is some days. Ellie is the guy you want if you got money. But I don't think like he's some must play. I like him. He's great if you can get him. Lindor and Gunnar Henderson and Mookie Betts, really all the same thing. Like if you can get him, sure, I think that's fine. But for the money, I like Willie Adames. Got a little bit of Trevor Story. And then we have those same punts on DK at short. They're second and short, like Mateo, Chase Madroth. It's fine to punt at short. Like usually you don't punt at short. I think it's viable today.
Yeah. Cheese, there's no way my 4-year-old did that, right? This is my wife.
No,
right?
That's a plan. I did that.
Yeah, this is way better than anything I can draw. If
I was going to say I couldn't draw that.
Yeah, we've got.
I would have definitely used one of those cheap things that
I'm gonna need a ruling on that after the show immediately. Okay, Beer, your thoughts at shortstop, please.
This is a spot I probably want to spend. I agree. I don't necessarily need Ellie De La Cruz, but he's my top guy. Henderson. I'm just going to keep going back to that game. I think we're going to get a high scoring game. So if you're a bet man or lady, I like the over in that game. I think we see some fireworks there. That price on Willy Adames is kind of silly here on DraftKings. So he's probably your cash game guy. So you don't need to spend up on those other guys. I just like the upside, but 3,800, just way too cheap. So the values we've already kind of hit on. I don't think there's anybody unique here that we haven't talked about that I want to use. Adames, probably the cheapest I want to go, and the Ellie De La Cruz and Henderson are the spend ups.
Okay, good stuff. You get the honor of bringing us to the outfield, where there's always plenty to play. Beer, what are some of your favorites there?
Favorite is Juan Soto, and I see him on the Spidey bombs going past the screen here. So really like the spot for him tonight, and the Mets in general. So Winker, we'll throw him in there again. Super cheap. Anytime you can get a heart of the order bat at 3,000, 3,200, those are guys that can be very valuable. So Austin Hayes kind of fits that bill as well. Super cheap. So those are probably my two values that I really like in Winker and Soto. High end. This spot, you can spend some money. We've saved you in a lot of different spots. I'm going to continue to play Tyler O'Neill against lefties. I know it hasn't gone great so far this season, but last year was off the charts. Abbott, I'm not sold on as being a great pitcher, so add him as another piece in that game that I really like. I think he goes yard tonight. So if I could add to the Spidey bombs, it would be Tyler O'Neill here. So Soto, some value with some of the guys we gave you, Winker and Hayes and O'Neill.
Okay, good stuff. Cheese, some of your favorites there in the outfield, please.
Yeah, as I listen, I'm torn between thinking that Beer reads the musings and that he's just a genius. I'm not sure. It could be both. I don't know.
Definitely not a genius, but I am a daily reader. But O'Neill, I've been playing Tyler O'Neill for years. I'm going to continue to do it. It's going to work eventually.
I wrote him everywhere. Like I wrote him as my favorite bat on the slate in the expert survey. He's got 3 tags. Like he looks fine under the hood.
I actually bet on him to hit a home run as well today. He just
there you go.
Bomb.
Nice.
So we all like Tyler O'Neill. And yeah, like those values that you mentioned, Winker and Hayes, just too cheap on DK. My favorite, like spend all the way up, is Tatis. But you don't have to spend all the way up. It's kind of like shortstop. Like Juan Soto is fantastic. I like Tatis. You can always play guys like Aaron Judge and Jordan Alvarez. But you don't have to, because the mid-tier is pretty loaded and there's the cheap guys. I would add in the mid-tier like Brandon Nimmo, more Mets. I like Helio Ramos, Michael Harris. You can also play Luke Raley in the outfield, same price down in between Hayes and Winker. Even Alex Verdugo's back, hitting leadoff right out of the gate, 2,800. Like you could throw him in a cash game if you were stuck needing something that cheap. But basically, it's kind of like shortstop for me. Like, sure, spend up. Like these guys are great, but it's not. I don't think you have to sacrifice the rest of your lineup to spend up if it's not easy.
Yeah. Okay. Got many options and many different ranges. We want some home run calls, and we want those in different ranges.
Tyler O'Neill. I go. Done.
I was wondering who was going to. Yeah. Well,
yeah, you can go to Beer first. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheese, you let us off with a little Tyler O'Neill. What do you like?
Every day, like I feel like I know who the person before me is going to say. It's like that's what I was going to say. So let's go with Matt Chapman. And there's a bunch of cheap guys that we've both mentioned that we like for homers. I'm going to save a couple of them for Beer and give you one. Try to find a different one that we haven't mentioned a bunch of times and let him choose which of those cheap ones he wants. Yeah, I'll give you Andrew Vaughn. Beer did mention him at first, but I think I'll let him go with one of those guys in the Baltimore Cincy game with the cheap guy.
Okay, good stuff. Beer, you got a few names for me as well?
He got to Tyler O'Neill in there quick. I love it.
No hesitation.
No, that was very well played. So I like Freeman, but I'm going to give you a longer shot here. I'm going to go with one of those cheap guys. Austin Hayes is plus, it was 680 last I looked on FanDuel. And I mean, it's down at 550, 575 at some of the other books. So getting a really good price on a guy hitting cleanup with the wind blowing out. Now, the wind has kind of died down a little bit from what we saw this morning, what it was going to be, but still, even 12-mile-an-hour winds to left, that could turn a fly ball into a home run, and little revenge narrative here as well, Roth, going back to Baltimore. So I'll give you the Austin Hayes at plus 680.
Hayes is known for his vengefulness.
Yeah, very vengeful man. Yeah. All right. You know what? We're going to answer some questions. We still have plenty of time until lock, and I want to make sure you're getting the best deal in the industry. MLB DFS annual option. It's $425. That's the whole year. It's all the games. It's everything you need. But to make things even better for you, we dropped the price of our combo product to mirror that price. So now, throughout the entirety of baseball season for the next 6 months, you can get all the sports for $425. So you're saving 35% if you do it that way, as opposed to going month by month by month, which is what most people do. So you're literally saving money. You're getting MLB projections, NBA content, PGA data, and more. Make sure you are signing up. Make sure you're smashing that like button as well. And we got those Spidey bombs scrolling. The fifth and final Spidey bomb showing up at 200 likes. We are 16 likes away. Let's see what we got as far as the questions go. Jumping into the Discord first, and then I will answer some questions from the YouTube. FanDuel Cash Rankum. Cheese, I'm coming to you. My boy, Big Dumper, McLean, Jordan, or J-Rod?
That's definitely your guy first. Cal Raleigh first.
Yeah.
J-Rod is last for cash. I would say, I like Alvarez straight up over McLean, but with the positional eligibility, I would probably say McLean.
Okay, very good. DKGPP, I will give this to both of you because I feel you will have different answers. D-Rock, Cheese, you can start. I've got 4 lineups. Would you rather have 2 shares of Rasmussen or 2 shares of DeGrom?
I mean, I lean to DeGrom, but I have some of both, and really, I would say probably just split them up. But if I had to choose one, I would say DeGrom.
Yeah, Beer. If you had 2 of either DeGroms or Rasmussen, which would you prefer?
I will say DeGrom here as well. Yeah, I know you wanted a different answer.
I thought we were going to get a little. Yeah, that's all right.
I got to shoot from the gut here, and it says DeGrom.
Okay, very good. Beer DK all formats. He says, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the Cream City kid in me, but who are you inviting? Who are you inviting to Easter? Okay, I should have pre-read this question. Who are you inviting to Easter? Beer, DeGrom, or Fastball Freddy? And where the hell is the Cream City?
Cream City is a nickname for Milwaukee. So they have I don't even know why. I'm going to be honest. I grew up there, lived there forever. I don't live there anymore, but they did come out with some sweet
let me jump
City,
in.
Bucks uniforms. But
before you answer, let me jump in and say I was Googling it before Beer answered. According to whatever AI Google uses, it stems from the city's use of distinctive cream-colored bricks in his historic architecture. Does that sound fair, Beer? Would you say you've noticed that in Milwaukee?
Yeah, big architecture guy here. So
you seem like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely noticed that. So no, I did not know that. My dumb brain was going to say, I don't know, cream soda or who
that's what I figured.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, but I appreciate the lesson here, Cheese. I'm learning as we're doing the show. I'm always a fan of learning something new here. So who would I invite to dinner? Who are the options?
DeGrom or Freddie or Fastball Freddy, which I suppose is Freddie.
That could be Freddie Peralta.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
I mean, I'm a Brewers fan, so I'm gonna go. I'll let DeGrom go hang out with Cheese. They're boys, and I'll take Freddie Peralta at my dinner. He looks like he'd be a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got the most random question of the day out of the way. Jumping into the YouTube. Let's see what we've got. I'm scrolling up just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Beer, I'm coming right back to you. I'm building one lineup on FanDuel, says Anthony. You want Yamamoto or Webb?
I want Yamamoto. There's too many guys that are underpriced. McLean we brought up is $2,000 cheaper over there. So I'm going to spend, and there's plenty of bats to make it happen.
Okay. Cheese coming to you for a couple. We'll go to Chunk the Deuce, who says last man in as a one-off. Single entry, Lawrence Butler or Adolis Garcia?
I can tell you that I don't really like either, but I would go Butler out of those two.
Okay. Chunk I don't know what that username means exactly. I'm not sure.
Let's not even discuss it, Ben.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know how you land on that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so let's set me up a username, and
I'm intrigued, but I'm also
we can
scared.
move on. Yeah, we can move on. Probably don't want to know.
Cheese, do you know the word tumped?
No.
Have you heard of this?
I
No,
certainly don't.
Tumped over? Something tumped over? No?
I'm sorry, you're losing me here.
It's kind of a Texas thing. It means
so.
Something round and flat that's been knocked over, it tumps over. You don't like this, this wouldn't tump over, but something with a wider base would tump over.
So it doesn't fall over or knock over, it just
tumps
over.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like tumbles? Is it short for that?
It's kind of in that, yeah. I thought maybe Cheese, being a man of the South there, would have known it as well.
I'll ask around. I don't know.
Bean says we tump in Arkansas. So there we go.
We feel like, yeah, that's probably, maybe it's a regional thing there.
No tumping in Florida.
Definitely. Yeah, no tumping in Florida. All right, just curious.
I have never heard that word in my entire life.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, a low price pitcher that you like. Cheese.
On FanDuel, none. Because of DeGrom's price. On DK, we mentioned like 4 guys in the beginning. They're all essentially tied. I'll go JT Ginn, but also Dobbins, Bowden Francis. You could do Cade Povich even, but I'll go with JT Ginn. Yeah.
Okay. Chunk the deuce. So reading it is different from hearing it. When someone said chunking up the deuces means like peace out. It's like throwing up a peace sign and says I'm out of here. So now that I
learned a lot today, I'm learning a whole lot. Architecture, tumping.
This has been useful. Yeah.
So now that
I go
see
upstairs and tell my kids I'm chunking the deuce, like,
yeah. I think
someday one of us is going to win a trivia contest from something we learned tonight.
Yes. No doubt.
And hopefully I'm right. If I'm wrong about what I said, let me know. If I chunked up the deuces the wrong way, let me know. All right, let's see. We got more questions coming in. Let's get to some of these. Peter says, Beer, DK tournament, which twins are your favorite to stack?
Don't really love the Twins tonight, I'm going to be honest. So, I mean, Buxton stands out as the bat. That's when I talked about I like Elder to add another cheap pitcher to the mix here tonight. So it's just not a team I want to stack. So I don't know if Cheese has more love for them, but Buxton would probably be my main piece. And I mentioned Julian as a cheap leadoff piece. Not much there that I really like. I mean, Larnick, I guess, but it's not a team I'm stacking tonight.
Okay. Right back to you here, Beer. Steve-O in the Discord says, DKGPP, your favorite SP2, 7K and under.
I'm torn between Elder and Bowden probably. So that's what I'll go with. I'll say Elder.
Okay. All right. Cheese, right back to you.
Dobbins, and Elder and Bowden.
Okay. Dobbins and Elder. All right. Cheese, the Grinch says DKGPP, Yamamoto and Mountcastle, or Peralta and Olsen, parentheses, I have Webb.
Yamamoto and Mountcastle. Those both sound pretty good, though.
Yeah. Okay. Achilles says, Cheese, FanDuel Cash, Olsen or Chapman?
It's a pretty good chance I'd have both, but I would go Olsen first.
All right, let's take Blink 182's question in the Discord. Beer, this is for you. He says, first off, this is not an Eric Johnson's burner account question, which already tells me I know what he's asking about. Yeah.
It's either the A's or let's decide who's the worst team on the slate, and it's a question about them.
It is an A's question. You are correct. What do the OGs, Beer, think of an A's stack to win it all in a large field DK tournament using Buxton, Vientos, and Jose Caballero as one-offs?
I mean, they've been hitting well. I think they've produced whatever expectations that we have for them. So, you know, I like Peralta tonight, but as Cheese mentioned in the open, he's anything but safe. I mean, it would not shock me to see him get blown up. So I like these kind of stacks where you take a shot, nobody's really on it, decent hitting environment here. So I don't mind it at all. I love Peralta, but I think that's definitely an off the radar stack, and they've showed they can put up some runs.
Okay.
Can I add something to that? It's just not even that specific to this question, just a general. The 3 names you mentioned to play along with an A stack. Like, if you love those guys, great, play them. But like, those 3 guys are kind of off the board too. And like, if you're stacking the A's, you're already off the board. So you can just play the best 3 bats around them. You don't have to play Caballero to be different. You're already different with the upside. So
yeah, that's a good note.
Those guys are fine. I'm not saying don't play those 3 guys. Just if that was your thought process, like you don't need every single batter to be different if your stack's already different.
Okay, very good little addition, Cheese. Thank you. Any Christian Walker love tonight, Cheese?
A little bit, yeah. Like if we didn't have Olsen and Alonso that I liked so much, and the cheap guys, I would be a little more on Christian Walker, but very much in play. Yeah.
All right. Cheese, back to you from Don Play. He says, which 2 pitchers do you like in a DK large field tournament? So you listed a lot of them that are viable, but let's say you're playing a big tournament and you're trying to win it all. Who are you playing?
I'm playing DeGrom. And so much depends on the salary. Like you can go either way. I'll just be funny with it and say DeGrom and JT Ginn.
Okay. Be
but
funny.
Most likely, you're not winning with that.
Yeah.
But that is kind of the just shoot for the moon, have some extra salary to spend from using Ginn.
Yeah. Okay. Beer FanDuel GPP from my guy Black. He says DeGrom or Dobbins.
I'm going to go DeGrom. It just feels too cheap over there. So close, but I'll go DeGrom.
Okay, very good. The Detox says, hey, the show is great. Thanks for keeping it free for the people. You're welcome. Glad to do it. We did get our 5th Spidey Bomb, by the way, at plus 500. It is Danny Jansen. That is your 5th Spidey Bomb. The show, by the way,
approves. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm good with that.
We like
Beer
it.
and Cheese have definitely lined up on at least 2 of the Spidey Bombs that I've heard them.
Soto and Jansen. And we all love Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah. That's universal. A reminder, the show's free because of the thumbs ups. You got to like it. We need the eyeballs. Otherwise, we're going to put it behind a paywall. Yeah, I don't want to do that. That's a threat. I don't know if I have the authority to follow through on the threat, but
yeah, you do. We need them thumbs up. You got plenty of authority.
Yeah.
You're tight with Andy. You've built up some favors from all the time you've told him about the weather when he's walking his dog. You can. I think if you ask nicely, you can make anything you want happen.
That's true. Yeah, I built up some brownie point equity with that one. Hey, which pitcher's getting funnel caked tonight? Beer. Which pitcher is getting funnel caked tonight? Which, by the way, means shelled. But
I say you're going to have to explain that one to me.
Another thing for Beer to learn on this.
Yeah, I got a whole little list of things I'm learning today. A very educational show.
Will Yamamoto get funnel caked is the next question. So who is getting funnel caked and will Yamamoto get funnel caked, Beer?
I think Andrew Abbott is going to get lit up by the Orioles. I think both pitchers in that game are going to struggle. So Yamamoto, I do not see. What is it? Funnel caked?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. I
don't
see Yamamoto getting funnel caked. Man, I'm excited to bust out all my new words for my kids.
Oh man, I don't know why that hit extra good when you said it. All right.
Yeah, there's no one I'm ever gonna want to hear say that now other than Beer. Like his voice, just the way, like, it's perfect. You were meant to say that.
All right. I might have to add that into the videos.
Yeah. Please do. I would die if I see a six-pack.
See if I can work it in somehow.
All right. DK Cash at catcher. Beer, you want the big dumper or Murphy?
I want Cal Raleigh.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, back to you. Achilles FanDuel cash question: Ellie or Soto?
Soto.
Yeah. Cheese on FanDuel. The Giants are appealing. This is from J Sams. The Giants are appealing because they're all somewhat cheap. If only building one lineup and single entry, which 4 would you prioritize? Note that Casey Schmidt is too cheap on FanDuel as well at 2.2.
Yeah, so I had that same problem, and I built a bunch of Giant stacks because I love essentially 9 of their batters, which might be all of them. If I had to pick and salary didn't matter, which it really barely does, like none of them are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like Ramos is maybe the overpriced one of them, but he's also the one I want. So I would go Ramos, Chapman, Tyler Fitzgerald, and then see what you need position-wise. I'm okay leaving Adames off.
Jung-Hoo Lee.
Yeah, so Jung-Hoo Lee seems like the guy that'll get left out because it's lefty-lefty. And I think Fitzgerald will get left out. Like, I think Adames is the guy that will be played in most Giant stacks. So I'm okay leaving him out. But honestly, I don't think there's a right answer. Like, essentially, the reason I like the Giants is they all have upside.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Let's see, Cheese. We got one more for you. It looks to be a 3v3 FanDuel small field GPP. And he said thank you in advance, which I always appreciate when we get a thank you. Juice says, Cheese, you want Yamamoto, Mateo, Mountcastle, or Peralta, Gunnar, and Adley?
I want the first one. They're all so close. Just play Yamamoto.
Yeah, okay. We'll go to Judy's question. And Judy, who, by the way, has been hanging out with us for years, I want to say. Judy, let us know how long. FanDuel single entry beer, 2 of 3 stacks. So basically pick 2 of these 3. Mets, Reds, Orioles beer.
I'm going to go Mets, and I'm going to pivot and go Reds. I think you'll see a lot of Mets, Baltimore. I don't think you're going to see a ton of traction. You'll have ownership, but I'm going to go Mets, Reds. 2 favorite stacks in the night. So me and Judy we're locked in here.
I like it. Okay. Our guy Butho Jenkins says, Beard, man, no, and I'll just read it. Man, no love for Bryce Elder. He's going to win. He's going for the Cy Young Award tonight.
That is, I've learned something else here tonight. That Bryce Elder's a Cy Young level pitcher. Yeah, I talked about him. I think it's a great price. I like the matchup. I don't really like the Twins bat, so I think he's a great play tonight.
Okay, great. Let's see. Hoosier says, do we have any crosswinds to worry about tonight? Not really. Why? None that are all that strong. And do we care if it's like a 10-mile-per-hour crosswind? I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't. Cheese, you don't. Cheese doesn't even care.
It would have to. Yeah. No, I would care if it was super extreme, but like
it would have to be.
It's not one that you're like, oh my gosh, guys, listen to this. Like,
yeah, right. That's what I would do too. Let's see. I'm learning more about chunking up the deuces and channel caking. Beer, Mullins or Westberg, FanDuel GPP?
I'm going to go Westberg.
Okay.
Like them both, though. There's a ton of plays in that game that I like.
Okay. Chunk the dude. Elder is going for the Cy Young, SIGH.
Now that's more accurate.
Yeah, that's good. Chunk the Deuces says, fun fact, I went to school at Irving High School, which is right near me, with Blake Beaven, and he threw up the K or Chunk the Deuces every time he K'd them. Do we know? I don't know who Blake Beaven is. Do y'all know?
This is a cheese question.
Cheese? No. Sorry. Cheese is muted, which doesn't help either. Mute count. Now we've all done it. Now we've all done it. All right. It's okay. We'll get back to it. Mullins or Westberg, FanDuel GPP, Cheese? You are still... No, you're good. Mullins or Westberg, Cheese? FanDuel GPP?
Westberg.
Okay, great. Cheapest
I mute
one-off.
when I'm talking about nothing, but if you ask a question, I'll unmute for you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well
Cleveland Picker, Cheese's favorite guy. Cheapest one-off second baseman. Beer, this is for you. Cheapest one-off second baseman, 2,400 and under on FanDuel.
2,400. All right, I'm gonna have to dig a little bit here. Cheese, you got somebody?
Say that again.
2,400 and under second baseman on FanDuel.
Yeah. There's actually several. I think I would go Casey Schmidt, but I like Mateo as well.
Okay, Schmidt or Mateo. Beer, you want to be a tiebreaker? Either of those appeal more to you?
I mean, we just talked about Elder, but Julian's probably my favorite cheap. 32 on DraftKings, 23 on FanDuel.
Nice. Very good. We'll go to Squid's question. Beer, it's a 2v2. Alonso and Cam Smith or Walker and O'Neal?
I'm going to go Walker and O'Neal.
Okay. Bean Dude says Roth's 3-year-old's about to tump out all their toys and make a mess if he doesn't wrap this up. Good use of tump. Excellent. Excellently done. Cheese, your favorite stacks for single entry GPPs from Laz?
Give me the Giants.
Okay. Let's see. Scrolling down just a little bit. Any thoughts on the Cardinals? Cheese, Beer, either of you interested?
I have a couple stacks in MME, but like they're pretty far down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of interest. Peterson's been solid. Again, not a guy that's super safe, but pitched well to open up the season. So I haven't played a ton of Cardinals this year. I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Scrolling down a little bit. Scrolling down. Robbie says, "What's up with the cords on the headphones? Leave us alone. We talked about this off the top of the show. All right.
It's called old and stubborn.
Yeah.
And I tried the wireless once, and all I did was have issues with the stream,
same.
so I didn't use them again.
It would cut.
He just wants to talk about how cool I am.
Yeah, that's
He
it.
does.
Basically, it's a compliment to Cheese. As usual, 2 minutes until the show. My youngest is coming in. Ruthless.
You got a
just
chunk to
piling
deuce
on.
with that guy, Cheese.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. We got another question. I believe that's Christian Walker beer, Walker and Helio, or J-Rod and Raleigh, not Cal Raleigh, but R-A-L-E-Y. DK Cash, Walker and Helio, or J. Rodriguez and Raleigh.
I will go the second set, but another one that's pretty close. Okay. I do like Raleigh. That's who he's talking about, right? Raleigh?
I think so.
3,200 is a good price on him, and you get the flexibility.
Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. Scrolling down. Do we need to worry about insect invasions during the game? Not. You never know.
Worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. We are less than 2 minutes until lock. I'm still scrolling. Andrew says, who is giving up the most home run? Oh, here's one. Braves or Red Sox? Beer? Braves or Red Sox?
I'm going to say Braves. Red Sox have a pretty healthy team total, but I like the Braves.
Okay. DK Cash, beer right back to you. Albies or Riley?
Austin Riley. It looks like, okay, we're getting our Rayleys and Raleighs and Rileys. If it's
This is Riley. Yes, this is R-I-L-E-Y.
I like Riley's one of my favorite bats on the slate.
Yeah. Cheese, Andrew says, who's given up the most home runs today, and why is it Rodon?
I mean, he's always a power risk, and Roth likes the weather. So, sure, I don't think it's probably him, but it could be. I mean, it's Miles Michaelis, but I got no problem with playing some race.
Oh, very cool. Are we full stacking the Mets? Stacking the Mets?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Okay. Negative Creep says Cheese is hip. Cheese, when was the last time that you were the hip one in a DFS?
This really says a lot for you two guys.
I know. It's a tough scene. Andrew says, who's going yard today? Ask my daughter who's going yard today, because she was correct. I asked her last time who was going yard, Judge or Ohtani, and she said Judge. So give me 2 or 3 names, Cheese. Give me like 3 people, and we'll ask her for the tiebreaker.
We got to get her opinion on Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, I mean, ask about Tyler O'Neill.
Let's get who did you give, Cheese? I said Austin Hayes. We'll get Tyler O'Neill, and you had who for a home run?
Cheap Andrew Vaughn.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, Ellie, I have a question. Who's going to hit a home run? Andrew Vaughn. Andrew or Tyler O'Neill? Andrew Vaughn. She's Andrew.
There you go.
The answer is Andrew. There you have it. It's locked in now, guys. We have hit. This is the RG ride of the day. Everybody get on it. Who was it? Just so I can. Was it Andrew Vaughn?
Andrew Vaughn, lock it in.
Andrew Vaughn, going yard. I love it.
Our little squad ride here.
Right.
Our own little private squad ride.
Everyone was on Tyler O'Neill. You're crazy, but I love it.
She's contrarian already.
We are gonna bounce on out of here. Yeah, we got some people on Tyler O'Neill. We got a few more on Vaughn. Let's bounce. So for beer, for cheese, that was a lot of fun, by the way, guys. For beer, for cheese, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been